It's recording. Okay, my micro is working. Okay, and then I will send this to you with WeTransfer. Do you know that?
Well, no.
Okay, you just have to give me your email, and I'll send you the file, and you can download it on your site. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so here, let's start it limping. Okay, I think here you can limp along. Queen 10, it's okay. You also can fold. It's not one of the hands I will choose to ISO. Okay, I think I will prefer something like Queen 10 suited or better than that. This one is still connected, but it's off. We don't need to get too much aggressive here. I think limping along it's okay. You can fold, okay, no problem. Do you want to see every hand, or you just want to see?
Just about my hands.
Okay, okay, perfect.
Which are connected with my play.
Okay. So here I think is another spot where I limp along. Normally I would start to raise here with probably 8s for sure. 7s I think I will decide depending on the players yet to act. If they are very aggressive, maybe I limp along. If they are very tight, maybe I raise. I think 6-6 I'll probably just limp along. Okay, seems right. And he raises. This is like almost 6 peaks. Okay, he folds. He seems very aggressive, like 33-25, 3-bet 20. This is my stats. Okay, I will guide you through it. So he's playing VPIP 33, 25 PFR, 23 bet, but it's only 30 hands. Okay, so it's more or less not very reliable. I think here it's another spot. You can call, you can fold. The view of the play will be more or less the same. Me personally, I like to force a little bit more plays when I'm deeper, because I think in position I will have a bigger edge, you know, especially in this type of field. I think this is a size too big for that. Okay, maybe if he would only raise to 80, I think I wouldn't fold with this size. I think it's a little bit too big. Okay, seems nice your fold. Okay, this is a fold. Okay, 60. Normally I would say that my 3-bet size is 3x in position. Okay, and 4x out of position, especially with the bigger stacks. As we go into the smaller stacks, it decreases a little bit, maybe like 2.5 in position and 3x, 2.8 out of position if we have shallower or shorter stacks. Okay, so here one yes, perfect, 18, yeah. Okay, any flats? Okay. Now he decides to lead. It's strange here when he leads. So what is your take on his lead?
Well, he's a kind of loose player, and because of the small bet he's leading with, I assume that he's really weak.
Yeah, he still leads with a lot of hands, right?
Yeah, because it's on the board almost half of my stacks, so I just showed.
Okay, yeah, I think yeah, I saw this hand yesterday when I was taking a faster look on the sit and go. Yeah, I understand your play. I don't do it that much, but I understand it. So now I'm thinking about the hands that you are doing the same move. So you are doing all of this with all your ace kings, suited or not, yes. So how do you play something like aces, kings, queens? Do you shove the same?
No, I'm just doing the min raise.
Yeah, because yeah.
Just calling.
Yeah. That's why I'm not a big fan of this, because when you shove like this, it seems that you are a little bit weaker, you know. Of course, against this guy, he doesn't think this deep, of course, but against some guys, they do this with something like 8s, you know, and they bet call, because they think, oh, this guy is never shoving kings or aces or any overpaired against me, because this bet is so small, he can just small raises and try to bring me along, and then they decide you have ace king or something like some weird bluff, you know, like king queen suited or something, and they decide to bet call with a weaker hand. So you have to be careful with this type of plays, and I think you choose the right player. Don't get me wrong. I think you choose the right player, but you have to be careful and have to choose someone with a lot of donk bet. He needs to have a high percentage of donk bet and a very loose range. Okay.
Okay, yeah, it's player dependent. Against ABC Rex, maybe it's better to free bet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And he folded, so great. Great outcome to the hand. Okay. Queen. I don't know what is your approach on defending. We can talk about this a little bit. So do you defend everything against the min raise, or you still have some folds?
I have some folds still, and it depends of the min raise position. The later the position is, the wider with range I defend.
Okay.
Kinda like this, I guess.
Yeah, this one you decided to fold, and seems okay to fold this one. This is one of the ones you can fold against the min raise. Especially on tournaments, because you have the antes, and these days you have the antes from the beginning of the tournament. Some years ago you didn't have that, so there was two different strategies before and after the antes kicked in. But these days the ante is on play since the beginning of the tournament, so now you have to defend more. But even so, I think against early positions with a hand so bad as queen 2 off, you don't need to defend all the hands. So I think here, not counting with 3 bets, okay, I think you can, let's say, defend all the aces. Normally I will start to defend like queen 7, king 7, king 8. I think here you can defend all of the pairs, no doubt. The suited connectors, I think I will defend everything that is able to make a straight. Probably like this, and then sometimes I leave this out. Okay. If I have more stats on the player and he seems very bad, I will defend everything. Okay. Maybe this, to be honest. And then the off-suited ones against the min raise, I think you can defend the ones that are able to make a straight more easily and have some high card value. But I think this, okay, maybe this, something like this seems okay to defend, okay, against the min raise.
Regardless of the opponent's position of the min raises position, is it regardless of that? Is it if he's hoping to convert the position, then the range is narrowing?
Yes, you are right. I think if you are very deep, you can. The adaptation is not that much, you know, because you are very deep. As you go into the shorter stack, you have to pay more attention to the position, and of course you are defending less against the early positions, and you are defending more. Okay, let's say this around this against the later positions.
Question: what is the minimum stack? I mean the blinds in later game you are defending with. Is it 20 bigs or less or more?
I think okay, let me try to explain to you this. As you get shorter, okay, you are able to defend the same.
Okay.
I think you don't need to be afraid to defend with 12 bigs, 11 bigs, 14 bigs, and I mean defend. I mean flat calling. Okay. I mean flat calling, because the thing is, as you get shorter, you will have more possibilities to go to showdown, because with your mid pair, with your flush draw, with your open enders, you will just check shove, you know, and you for sure will see the five cards. And when you are deep, sometimes you get blown off your hand, you know. They will make a big bet on turn, and you are not able to see the river with your flush draw, maybe with your middle pair, you know. So yeah, you are too deep. So when you are short, if you think it's a correct defense, of course, and if your hand it's not like, let's say with 15 big blinds, your hand is not a 3-bet shove, but it's a defense. Okay, you just defend and you will play post flop accordingly. But don't be afraid to defend with a short stack, and don't get just 2 plays in your head, or fold or 3-bet. You know, you have to defend also, and you have to defend a lot when you are short, because the truth is you have to take more shots. You know. To be able to duplicate your stack. So I think you can defend when you are short, no problem, because you will see more rivers, and because of that, you are able to profit from your hands.
And also, when we defend in this short stack, when he's doing a c-bet, then we also have a possibility to call it and re-evaluate on the turn.
Yeah.
If this card shifts equity to our side, isn't it? So we can lead also from the turn.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think it's okay.
Yeah. Seems right what you're saying. Okay. So here you decided to fold. Seems right. Okay, this is a fold. Okay, this one, I think I would like to try to isolate this player a lot. Okay, but I think King 7 is a little bit too weak. Okay, this is a hand I think I will fold, but against this player in the best position, against 2 blinds that don't seem too aggressive, I think we can. Let's see. I think King 8 I will start to ISO. Okay, let's go like this. I think I will start to play a range like this. Okay. Probably I will limp along some of this. Okay.
This is limping. Okay.
Yeah, this some of this I could limp, like this one. Maybe I could limp. Then it depends a little bit. Okay, on the players behind, on your mood. I don't know. These ones you can limp along too, because they are not that great, and you have enough aces on your range with the suited ones and the bigger ones of suited, you know. But all the broadways, all the best kings, queens, the best nines, suited nines, you know, you can just raise over his limp and play post flop with that. I think you can limp these ones along. It's like the weaker ones. You just limp along, you know, and the better ones you just ISO. Okay, yeah, this one I think it's a little bit loose, but I think it's not a big mistake. Okay.
Yeah. Because I have the stretch that I isolate with really wide range.
Yeah, I understand.
Maybe I should a little bit make it a little bit more tight, the ISO range. That's what I think.
Yeah, but okay, to ISO with a wide range, you have chosen the right spot, because you are in the button against a very loose player. So this is not a big mistake when the spot is this one.
Okay.
But anyway, personally, I think I prefer a tighter range. But it's like that. If you are very comfortable playing post flop, okay, you can ISO wider. It's okay.
I should see bet here. That's my mistake.
Yeah, I think probably here it's like one and done, because the board is very favorable to you. You know, it still has a lot of stud connectors, some broadways that will win in showdown, and this guy he can also have the same type range. You know, so with his stack he would probably shove a lot pre-flop if he had a true hand. You know, a big ace or something like that, a big pair. So here I think you can use a small size. You can use a small size, something like 33 to 40% of the pot. Okay, something like 150.
Yeah.
More or less. Okay, then he leads, and now you have to fold here. Okay, let's just see the showdown. So we have nines, okay, and 9-10. Okay, yeah, seems more or less the type of hands they can have in this spot. Okay, this is a squeeze spot. Even if this player seems a little bit more passive, 26-11, it's the type of player that is loose, but is loose on his calling range, not the open raising range. But queens, it's top of the range, so this is a squeeze spot, perfect. So this is okay. Yeah, seems okay. The size in position, you can use a smaller size than out of position. So out of position, I will go closer to 300.
Okay.
In position, this seems between this and 20, 25. Yeah, 25 seems okay. Okay. This is a fold. This is a fold. Okay. I think you can still open this one. Yeah, this one you can open.
Okay.
No problem. Yeah, still here. You don't have better. You're not committed against any shove, and they seem fairly passive. Okay, and this one doesn't have any 3-bet, this one doesn't have any 3-bet, this one doesn't have any 3-bet, so maybe you can open this one. It's the type of combo ace-2 suited that you can open here, almost any suited ace.
Okay. Well, when you're playing 9 tables, maybe some these spots are being missed, you know.
Yeah, of course. You can spot a lot of misses when you are reviewing, but that's normal. most of the time when I'm reviewing my game, I say, come on, how can I miss this one? It's like it's a basic spot, but it's normal when you are multi-tabling. Yeah. So I think I remember this one. I took a look on this yesterday. You decided to defend, and I think you have to. I think you have to, because the pot odds. Yeah, the pot odds are incredible. When he decides to min raise, I think out of position is not that strong, because if he had a stronger hand, he would want to open bigger, something like, I don't know, maybe 250, something like that, you know. When he only min raises, I think he's very weak, and against a weak range, your 5-7 suited it's playing well, and you know that almost 100% of the time this guy will call too, so the pot odds are even better. I think you have to defend here. So here, yeah, I have here, you have a vulnerable middle pair, but I think your play here is to check, because you don't have many leads here with the range. So I think a check, yeah, check, it's okay here. Then he checks again. Here I think I like to lead, because this player can stab a lot on the flop with some flush draws, with some mid pairs, with some kings, and he didn't do that, so I think here with your vulnerable third pair, I think you can stab a little bit and protect your hand against all the ace 10s, ace 9s, ace queens, you know, 10 jacks, I don't know, queen 10s, get some value from some flush draws they may have. You can stab here, perfect. Okay. Yeah, maybe the size I would choose a little bit less. Okay. Because I think against the type of hands they will call, like flush draws and some mid pairs, something like, I don't know, 10s, 9s. Yeah, doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. And you want to be able to use the smaller size possible. That is still okay for you. You know. Okay, and he folds perfect.
Maybe 150.
Yeah. Yes. I think let's see the turn. Yeah, you're betting 200 and yeah, maybe. I think I would use something like 140.
Okay.
Between 120, 140. Yeah. But this is just me being picky, you know.
But that's from what Roy goes more.
Yeah. At some point, when your strategy gets gets good, you know, you have to pay even more attention to the details. And the details, it's this type of stuff. Small differences in sizes, that type of things. Paying more attention to the combos of the hands you use. You know, after some point, you have to start to pay attention to that. So here. So, two factors on my decision here of playing or not playing this hand. First factor, the player who opens is one of the tightest on the table. He's only playing 16-30. Okay, it's a tight player. So, heads up against him when he uses 3x size. I think I would fold this hand. Then we have the other factor. We have the fish of the table in play, and we really want to play against him. Another factor is that we have the worst position on the table, right? The small blind. But I think here you can defend this one. It's like Queen Jack. You know that probably you cannot stack off sometimes against this one, but with this one in play, I think you can play this hand. And the big blind is also loose, but not very aggressive in terms of 3-bet, so you're not expecting too many squeezes. That's another reason for you to flat here. Okay, perfect. And you just paid 100 to play a pot that is 650, so it's okay. Nice flop. Yeah, I think you can check here. I don't mean check because you have a straight, but I think in this type of board you can check a lot when you defend multi-way. Maybe sometimes if you flop a straight, I don't know, maybe from the big blind or something, and the board is lower, something like 4, 5, 6, let's say. You can just lead sometimes your straights because you will expect, especially the player that opens earlier, will check back a lot, you know. And if he has a overpair sometimes, and you see that board is multi-way, there are a lot of possible 2 pairs and straights and bad turn cards for him. They sometimes decide to check back an overpair and just take 2 streets of value, you know. And then in that spot you can lead like half pots, maybe something like that, just to charge 1 more street, you know. You can do that. Okay, it's just an idea for you to remember in those situations. So here the check seems okay, and he decides to bet, call. Okay, here normally my play will vary. So sometimes, especially when I have the hearts, okay, I can just flat. When I don't have any hearts, normally I will go for the raise. Here I think I would flat and try to get this guy along too, and also because I will have the perfect shoving stack for the turn, so no way I'm not going to stack off here, you know. So I can flat and stack off all the turns. If I didn't have the Jack of Hearts, I think I would just raise here. So that way I think my play is more balanced, you know, and I will have straights also in my check raising range and also in my flatting range. That's another detail we can improve on. You decided to raise, okay, seems okay. But here, I don't know. I think when I raise, I just prefer the shove, you know,
Okay.
because the pot is already so big. I think I just prefer the shove. It's like 650 with this is like almost 1500, right?
Yeah.
This is almost 1500, so I think I just prefer the shove. And when
I think
yeah.
I thought like that if I will do min raise, then the fish will say, I need to call 500 more. Why not? You know.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Okay. With the fish in play, I think if you have that thought process, it's okay. But don't forget when you are not against the fish, you have to play a little bit more balanced. But with the fish in play, seems okay. Fold and then he shoves. Okay, easy one. And he has the ace king. Yeah, it's a tough spot for him because he has a short stack, and in this spot, I think he has a nice combo to do that because he prefers to not have the ace of hearts, let's say,
Yeah.
because with if he doesn't have the ace of hearts, you will have more hands like ace 8 suited in hearts, ace 7 suited in hearts, ace 5 suited in hearts, so you have more bluffs when he doesn't have the ace of hearts, so it's good for him not to have any heart or even any diamond.
The blocker card.
Yeah. Okay, this is a fold, easy one. Okay, these are folds. Okay, these two. This is a fold. Yeah, I think here only if you would see all the players very tight. Okay, you can choose a suited king to open, but even this one is very low. So maybe you could try to add to your stealing range something like king 8 suited from this position. You know, some kind of adaptation against very tight players here late position, but only in that case.
Yeah, but here, you know, if I would have here king 8 suited and would have opened it, and if the cutoff would have been moving all in or the big blind,
Yeah, you have to call.
I need to call, isn't it? I'm committed.
Yeah. You are committed against everyone who has less than the 1500. So against this one, and this one with king 8 suited, you are committed. So especially with your stack size, you know that you can afford to lose 1k. You know, you are committed. Maybe if you have something like 2k, you can but it's for like 80% of my stack. I know sometimes it's profitable, but it's a very marginal spot, so I'm gonna let this one go. But with this stack you cannot, so it's better to fold most of the hands you don't want to stack off against them here. Okay, so this is a fold here. So normally, without looking at the charts, what hands would you call here?
I think 7s plus, I guess, or maybe 6s plus. Ace 10 suited, I guess, plus. Then the king 10 suited plus, I guess.
Okay, so let's do it in green. King 10 suited. Okay, apart from the obvious ones, of course. You said 7s, right?
Yes. 6s maybe.
6s, okay. The off-suited ones is queen, maybe.
Yeah. Not ace jack.
Okay, okay. Um, Without looking at the chart, I think this is a little bit too loose, you know? I think you have to be able to fold more this one, this one. This one is borderline. Okay, so it's okay. I think you should fold this one too. So this one I think is a little bit on the borderline side. This one too, and this one too. So I think some of them are borderline just because you are too early position, you know? Not because the range that he shoves, but because you are very early position, you know, and you have to protect your stack more when you are on that type of spot. So when he shoves this, it's like 10 BBs, sevens, ace 10, ace jack off plus. Okay, so you're not calling here with kings, you know, any king, only aces. So of course, from the big blind, as you will see, yeah, it's a lot looser, you know. So the problem here is not the range he's shoving, but your position. Okay. So you can put ace jack on, but it's still I can tell you the
It's marginal.
yeah, it's marginal. That's right. Okay. Okay, this is a fold too. Yeah, this would be a fold even against him, I think. The 8 deuce. Okay, here we have. Okay, so this is for sure opening spot. Okay. Now we have to decide: is it more profitable just to shove or to open raise? Against the big blinds, there is no problem in any of the cases because you can just shove against him and you can just open raise call and ace 9 would be profitable for sure. But against the 18, we have here the big blinds. Can you see them?
Yeah, I see.
Okay, 18 big blinds from the small blind, and it seems okay. We only have 7 hands, but he only played like 1. He didn't open raise. We don't have 3 bet. Maybe against this guy we can open raise fold, you know,
Yeah.
and protect our because it's tighter. So against when you have two tight big blinds, small and big, or maybe when you are on the cutoff and you have a tight button, tight small, tight big, I think you should lean to do more open raising instead of just shoving because they will react almost the same.
Okay.
You understand this? It's like they will not have many 3-bet bluff on their range, so you can just open raise and choose the hands that are profitable to call, and the other ones you are just using to steal, you know. This type of spot, I think it's one of them. You can open raise and then call the big blind because you are on profitable. Yeah, you are committed and it's profitable. And against the small blind, I think you can open raise fold. Okay, perfect. This is a okay, limp. So this guy is a regular. I recognize his nickname. Yeah, I recognize. So this is the type of spot I'm not limping along that loose because I know one of these two are very pressured to shove with the massive pot that is going to create with all the limps. So 6-9, I think I'm gonna fold here. Yeah, seems okay. Bad fold. Yeah, but you would be in a very bad spot when he shoves here. So yeah, tricky. You would have to fold, I think, here. Even though if you have one of the best hands in the in this spot, I don't think you'd have. Maybe it would be close equity wise, but I think when you have the bigger or the second biggest stack on the table, you shouldn't take these kind of spots, you know, because you will be able to pressure all the table with better spots later on the sit and go. Yeah, this one is marginal. Okay, this is a fold. This is a fold too. Ace-5 off. Yeah, I'm folding here, especially with this reshoving, and this one, even if he wants, it's just 20 bigs, so he can reshove a lot on you. This is a fold. Okay. This is still a fold. Yeah.
But can you just go back to the ace-5 hand, please?
Ace-5. Okay. Yeah.
Let's say that we would have here ace-8 suited, and stacks would be like less blinds, maybe. Let's say 3 of them would be 20-25 blinds, and the rest of them 9-8 blinds. So called smaller stacks.
Okay. So if I am opening, in any position, if I decide to open, I'm taking in consideration the smaller stacks. So if I open, I'm not folding to the smaller stacks. Okay, to the 8 big blind, 9 big blind, 10 big blind stacks, I'm not folding any hand that I'm opening from middle position or early position, because they are too strong for that. You know, all the hands I open.
That depends what hand are you opening. Yeah, that's the factor which you are considering when you choose to open the hand.
Yes, that is one of the most important factors. Of course, I have like a standard range for this position, you know, and then I look at my range and I think to myself, okay, most of the hands in this range are good enough to call the shorters. Okay, so I'm open raising like my normal range. So if I have a lot of short stacks behind me and most of my range doesn't want to call against them, maybe I will get a little bit tighter, you know. That's more or less okay. But here I think ace-8 suited, it's a raise. Okay, it's a raise, and then you will have to call for sure this one, and then you will get in a tough spot against this one and the big blind, you know. So ace-8 here is probably a borderline hand, you know, and you will need I don't know, maybe more hands from the players to get a better decision. Without hands from them, me personally, I tend to fold a little bit more, because I won't be able to decide with enough information, and now I will tend to make more mistakes. So maybe I will fold here, but I think ace-9 suited, it's mandatory. You have to raise. Okay. So this was a fold too. Yeah. Yeah. Too early. Okay. This is a fold. Yeah. And he is okay. So, of course, 9 tabling, this is impossible, but this is a type of spot you can take a note. He's limp folding 10 bigs on the cutoff. So it's very important to take notes, or to pay attention at least on your deeper ones to this type of spots, because later on the seat, he will do this type of limps, and if you have a more marginal hand, you can just shove and he will fold. Okay.
Take a note about
take a note about this, because it's not typical, and the plays that are not typical, we are not able to counterattack, you know, that much. And if you can decide better on this type of spots, it's very important, especially I think on turbos, because you are always all the time short, you know. This big blind is very important. Of course, you will not shove with 7-9 off here, but I don't know, maybe with something like ace-5 off, that maybe sometimes you would check behind just to make sure you see a flop and can decide better. Against this guy, I think probably is a shove, the ace-5, maybe any ace, because he's limping probably the 5-4 suited, maybe the 7-8 suited, and he's folding. Maybe he's limping, I don't know, the king 6 suited or the 10-9 off, you know. So you have to shove a lot against this type of players. Okay, easy shove here, perfect. Okay, this is a fold, and if it comes to you, I think this is one of the hands I will fold. I won't open, because first of all, I am a little bit committed against the small blind, and because the big blind seems very aggressive. Okay, so this is one that I'm folding directly on the button. Okay, this is a fold too. This is a fold. Okay, this is a fold.
Position open.
Yeah, early position open. So this is an interesting one, because you have to defend some hands here, but you have to defend tighter than we talked about it earlier, especially because you are 14, he's 15, he's very early. So maybe here I think, okay, let's start with the range that you are shoving. So aces, kings, queens, jacks, tens. We have to use a standard range here because we only have 5 hands of him, so we don't have any information. So standard, I think probably this pairs, it's standard. Then sevens starts to get a little bit more marginal, sixes also. Then no doubt about ace king and ace queen for sure also. Then the ace jack suited starts to get a little bit more marginal. Also the ace 10 suited, but we don't know about him. Some players decide to open like ace 8 suited, ace 5 suited here, and then they feel committed and then decide not to fold. So maybe the ace check and ace 10 are still profitable in that situation, but they are a little bit more marginal. So and more than this, yeah, the ace check off is marginal. I don't think I would shove king queen suited here. It's probably the bottom of my hands here, these ones. But of course we are defending all of this. I think all of this for sure, all of this.
And you're check shoving on the flop when you have some draw, kind of draw.
Yes. If my hand connects like semi good on the flop, I'm check shoving a lot. Yeah. And see, we are only defending 27% here. Maybe we can defend a little bit more, something like this. Okay, if you decide to get even looser, you can start to choose like these hands here. Like I think you will always prefer the suited ones, okay, because they have a lot more playability post flop. And then maybe these hands here, okay, that still have some high card value and some they are a little bit connected, like this, and then you start to go down till the off suited aces and these ones, okay, this one. So I think your defending range should be something like this, okay.
And the later position of the opener, the wider the defending range is.
Of course. If the position is later, then this is a mandatory defense, and then you will start to shove for sure this one and this one and this one and this one and this and this and this and maybe this, and then the more borderline shoves start to be these ones, you know.
That's what I didn't done. I didn't defend with the small stack 15 to 20 bigs.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. That was one of my mistakes when I was starting to play that games, because I didn't tell you, but I started as a cash game player. you know. And for a cash game player, start to shove the queen 10 suited, you know, seems I can't shove this, and I also cannot defend with 15 bigs. I'm only used to defend with 100 bigs, you know. So I was like, I don't know what to do, so I fold. But then I started to study more and to get some coaching for myself too, and my coach at that time explained me that we cannot be how to say it, binary, you know, only have shove or fold, you know. It's not only black or white. We can use the gray in the middle. So we have to be we need to have all the weapons, you know. We need to have all the weapons.
That's a great weapon, I guess.
Yeah.
To use more. But we cannot chip race with the complete bluff, isn't it? When
No, I don't think so.
minus AV.
Yeah, you need to have like maybe second pair with the overcard, maybe a bottom pair with an overcard and some backdoors, an open ender, a flush draw. But of course, a flush draw you will not fold. You know, you have to go with it with these stacks, and it's like, I think, and don't get me wrong here, you will lose a lot for sure, but in the long run, you will get more profit from that type of place, you know, because you are playing more, you will lose more. Of course, you are adding some place to your folding ranges. So from that once you will win once, lose another once. But if you keep making the right adjustments, for sure in the long run, you will get more wins. Basically, that's that more possibilities to go to the final table and have a bigger stack. Because I
Place also, it's like considered the Rex, which are also got used to race fold.
yes. I think one of the best advices I heard in the beginning was like, what makes you more uncomfortable when you are playing? Okay, and I would think to myself, okay, I get so uncomfortable when they raise my c-bet. I really don't like when they raise my c-bet, because I was not c-betting with a strategy, you know. I was just c-betting because c-bets, you have to c-bet if you open, you know. That was the strategy at that point. Okay, I open, I c-bet, and then I got raised, and I was very angry with that. And then I started to implement that in my game, you know. And then I started to see the results, and then it also helped me to improve my c-bet strategy, and what to c-bet, what not to c-bet. So I started to think to myself, okay, I really don't want to get raised here, so maybe I just check this one and try to delay c-bet on turn, or maybe check call, you know, maybe it's better for that. And okay, as I would progress on my study, and then I started to study with PioSolver and all that stuff, okay, now I think I have a better c-bet strategy. Okay, this is also a fold, this is a fold. Okay, this one, let's see, 10, 7, 7, queen 9, I think you don't have to shove here.
It's a marginal. I checked.
Yeah.
ICMizer, queen 10 is a minimum value.
Yes. I think on the cutoff, queen 10, yes, for sure. Okay, and even the queen 10 off is like, because we have big stack, you know, and even the queen, yeah, it's not very good. I think.
They call more.
Yes, they are like, sorry the language, but fuck it, and they will just shove, they will just call your shove, and you will get in trouble. So I think in this spot, the queen 10, you can shove against smaller stacks, because you have 12 bigs, not 10, okay, and so maybe the bottom of the 10 big blind shards you will fold sometimes, especially in bad situations like this one. If they seem very tight, like 12-12, 12-12, something like that, you will start to shove more.
Yeah, the bigger stacks, with the tight stats, so you can shove.
Yeah.
Color dependent.
Yeah. So these are still folds. This is still a fold. This is a fold against any one of them. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. I don't think we can shove against his limp. First, because he's limping hands better than ace-3, especially when he's limping early position. And because I see a lot that type of players that decide to limp call here, like ace-8, king-10, sixes, fives. So you don't have that much of fold equity with your stack against him. So I don't think this is a hand you want to shove here. So the next question is, do you want to limp along? I'm not that fan also of a play, because ace-3 doesn't flop that well. So I think I would prefer a limp along with a suited small ace. With this one, I think I'm gonna make the tight folds, especially because I want to have the max fold equity I can in the next round, because I will be shoving almost for sure. I think I will fold this one. Yeah, I like to see this one. I like to see this one. This one is good. Okay, now we fold again. So let me compliment you, because you don't have any spots. You know, like from that time you had like 4.5k till now you were just folding, and you keep having patience. So this is very important. I think on turbos people tend to lose their patience when they start to see the blinds slowly eating up their stack, you know. So it's very nice to see that you have the discipline and the patience. So that's very good. You know, you keep folding, and then you have the spots, and so this is a perfect spot. You have the perfect hand, the perfect stack size, the perfect, not the perfect opponent, but I think it's a good opponent because he has a big stack, so he's opening wider, you know, and he will call you wider also. So this is perfect spot. Nice shove, call, and okay, you win the flip.
It's also a wreck, I remember this.
Yeah. So this is a fold too. Yeah, okay. This one, easy one. Limp. Okay, we will check this one. But you see, if you have some type of note in this player, and you have a more interesting hand, of course, this is the type of spot, because almost for sure the small blind is not trapping, you know.
Yeah.
So this is dead money on the small blind, and some rights still give this free money, and this mistake. This is a mistake when he limps along a lot here. He needs to have some limp calling here, you know, sometimes just for the other wags on the big blind doesn't think this is free money. It's like the ace-3 off spot. You know, let's say he has ace-3 off here. He shouldn't limp that much because you have a shoving stack. Maybe this guy is trapping. We don't know. Okay.
He needs to have some hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here, I think my normal play would be to stab if the small bet checks. If he checks, I'm going to stab my mid pair here. I'm going to stab because I think I can stab something like 800, and I'm not committed against his shove. It's not a big portion of my stack, and I think I need to protect my middle pair. One thing is, if you have something like Jack Deuce and the flop is like Jack 3 King, that way your middle pair is not vulnerable. But this way your middle pair is very vulnerable, and you need to protect him a little bit, you know, against the 9-8s, 10-9s, 10-9s, 10-8s, Queen Jacks, Ace-8, you know, that they still have the 2 over cards and the 6 outer. So you should lead small here, I think. Yeah. But I think it's normally players tend to check here, but I think it's an exploit you can use sometimes, you know.
Yeah, of course, sometimes you need to stop, because if you won't stop never, then you lose money. That's it.
Yeah. And especially against these passive players, if they see the play is working, they will start to do this a lot, you know. And every time they are in hijack, cut off, and button with a hand, they don't feel it's quite enough strong to open raise. They just limp and then stab the flop, and you will just be check folding, you know. It's like small versus big blind strategy, you know. Limp small, stab, limp small, stab. It's that type of play. Of course, here I think you have to fold. No problem here. Okay, this is a fold. Yeah, I think here we start to call something like ace-8 off. Probably. Let's see. Cut off, small blind, ace-5. Yeah, but I think it's too loose.
Because they don't raising so wide.
Yeah. I think ace-8 off probably gets a better result. Yeah.
Maybe you know, if there is some kind of wreck, then you can call this.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah, only if it's a reg and he's playing something like 2020 and seems a loose reg. Okay, that way seems okay. Okay, this is another fold. Okay, this is fold 2. Yep. Yeah, this one is a tough one. So let's see. Yeah, this is a tough one because you only have the 6 big blinds. So I think my take here is this one. I think I would fold here. I think I would fold because this guy is not shoving 10, he's shoving 16 bigs. And of course he's shoving 16 bigs against 6 big blinds, 7 and 9, but he has here this one that covers him. So he's not shoving that wide because of this guy, for sure. Because he can just min raise and call the shorts and fold to the big, you know? So he's not going to put a holy stack in play with a shitty hand. So maybe because of that I will fold against this guy, but only because of that. If he had like 10 bigs, I think you have to call here because the table is not full, and they still shove worst aces and worst hands from early position, and now you are in a point where you have to gamble a little bit, you know. And ace 10, it's more than okay to let's say gamble here. Yeah, and you fold, but I agree with this fold. Yeah, I like this fold because of that point I told you about. I think he's shoving a stronger range here. Okay, this is still a fold. So again, we are on the patient. Yeah, patient. Yeah. We are on the patient. This is still an edge, I think. Be patient. Is in this type of sit and goes, this is still an edge. Okay, and now we are rewarded for our patience.
A little bit. Oh, a lot.
Okay, perfect. So let me just check their calling ranges. So here 2 big blinds. Yeah, it's a king. Nothing to say. Yeah, and here yeah. This is normal for both of them. Okay.
Now I guess we're 27 left. We're in the money now.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, this is a call. Okay. Perfect. And he shoved 5 bigs, 8-6, cut off. Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah. Especially because he has 5k and that's half of your stack. And you are the bigger stack yet to talk. So I think the 8-6 here is a nice shove from him. Okay, this is a fold. Now, okay, let me check. yeah, this is a fine open raise, and you will have to call the button and the big blind and to fold for the small blind. Yeah, I think we had a similar spot with ace 9 also earlier. Okay, and he flats. Yeah, this is strange for me. Normally with 8 picks, I'm not flatting the button. Here, I think we only have a fold or shove strategy.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
it's just efficient. That's it.
Yeah. Sometimes they cannot fold like the 10-9 suited here.
Yeah, it looks pretty.
Yeah. So now we have pot behind, and it's tough, this one. It's tough because he still has some broadways like queen 10 that if we shove, he's going to fold. But he also has some suited connectors that connect on this board. And we have a diamond, right?
Yeah, diamond, sorry.
Diamond, yeah, diamond. Yeah, I don't mind to shove here, but now I'm thinking, okay, from the hands we open here. Yeah, this is an interesting one. Let's try to do a deeper analysis of this one. Okay, so what type of hands would we open here? Okay, so our range of open here will be for sure this, probably this, also this, maybe fours, threes, and deuces. I'm not sure if you open or not.
Rather shove them.
You rather shove. Yeah, seems okay. But even these ones, I don't know if I should shove because of this guy.
The big stack. with
Yeah,
them,
you know, because at this point in the sit and go, 18 bigs, you probably are like top 8
Yeah.
for sure, almost, So you are in a great position to get to the final table, So you really don't want to put your stack in harm. So I think these ones here are let's say marginal, okay? And then you will open these ones for sure. Yeah, this one too, this one. These ones are opens, I think, for sure, because you can profitably call this one and this one. Yeah, these ones are opens for sure. Then you start to get in a more marginal side, like with these ones. I think like these are a little bit more marginal, but can still be opens, I think, because you can still profitably call with the suited aces, the big kings, these ones, okay. But I think your main range, it's the yellow one, alright. Of course, it's a tight one, but we have a short stack and we have to protect our equity on the tournament. So now from this range, what type of hands would we shove on this board? So I think most of okay, our sets we can check and call a shove, or we can check and shove turns. So these ones we are not shoving. The under pairs, I think we're not shoving. The fours, if we have, we're not shoving. I think if we have and we don't have that much sevens in our range, we are shoving because we don't want to give him free cards, and it's a top pair that it's still vulnerable to some overcards. So this one we'll shove. We will shove. The 6 is probably a shove too. It's a mid pair. Yeah, the 5 is an open ender, so this is a shove. The 4, it's a tough one. Let's yeah, let's leave it here. And the ace 3 and ace 2 in diamonds, these are shoves, I think. The ace 8 in diamonds, I think, is a shove. In spades, I think, is a shove. And the other two, I think we can check fold. And now we start to split our range, right? Sometimes we with the same hand we shove, and sometimes we check fold. The same for the king 8. I think is the same thing. This one the same, this one the same, this one the same. This one is always a shove. The 9-8, it's an open-ender. Then some overpairs like this one is a shove, this one is a shove, this one is a shove. And now I think you can start to check call some overpairs, you know, like the bigger ones. I think you can start to check call. And even sometimes I shove the jacks. I think when he has only 8 bigs and he decides just to flat, I don't think he has many overcards to jacks, you know, because most of them he will just shove pre-flop. Like the ace queens, the king queens, he will just shove. So now you don't have to face too many overcards, and even if the turn is a king or a queen, you can shove the same with jacks, because it's like a small percentage of the time that he hits. So maybe the jacks, queens, kings, aces are check calls. Then I still shove all the flush draws with these ones. And backdoor spades, and then I think the biggest ones I think we have to shove to, because sometimes he will just call us with ace 8, with ace 9, and we are still dominating, you know, with the bigger aces. Yeah, with the bigger aces. Again, the offsuited ones, I think we can do the same, especially if we have a diamond. And we have the backdoor equity. I think we should do that. Then the big broadways, I think they are just shoves with diamonds. These ones are check folds. The broadways, the offsuited broadways. Even if we have a diamond, I think we can check. And then let's say we check king queen with the king of diamonds, and the turn is a diamond. Then we can shove. And we still make some, I don't know, ace eyes fold sometimes. So I think that is a check. So now I think with all the hands we saw that are better shoves or better check calls, I think our ace 9 off is a check fold. My conclusion after all of this, I think we have better hands that are still bluffs, you know, but they perform better against his calling range, you know. If we want to have 2 overcards and a backdoor, we can choose the ace king off, the ace queen off, the ace jack off. We can choose the ace king of spades. We can choose the ace queen of spades, ace jack of spades, ace 10 of spades, you know. So we still dominate some of his calling range, like ace 5 suited, you know, something like ace 3 suited, maybe ace 10 with the bigger aces, and then we crush him with the bigger pairs, you know. So I think what I prefer here is a check fold, and or check and then reevaluate turn, I think. Yeah, no, it's okay. If you have to do a marginal shove, this is not a bad one, you know. Of course, this is better than I don't know, maybe queen jack off. But I think okay, we know this is a marginal one.
That's why we did analyze.
Yeah. Okay. So this is another thing to take a note on, you know. He flats with 8 bigs and still is not a trap, you know. If he flats with 8 bigs and his aces or kings, okay, I can understand that. He's trying to trap, he's trying to get the small or the big blind to shove and to crush us in the all-in. Yeah, just a trap. But here, when he flats and then he folds post-flop, he doesn't even have an overpair, you know. It's like he doesn't have.
Garbage.
Yeah. Because if he was flatting with 5s, he would call 4s, call 7s, call 6s, call 8s overpaired, and all the above ones. So here he has a shitty hand for sure.
Also note for that. Okay.
Yeah, that's important. This is a fold. These 2. So let's say this one 20, and the table is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7-handed. And we are committed to, okay, this one doesn't count, so we are 6-handed. We are only committed to the big blind. I think this is an open. Yeah, I think I like to open fold to everyone except this one, of course, but it doesn't count, and the big blind. Yeah. Yeah, you folded, but I think you can open, especially if you take a look at the stats. We have a very tight player. He's a rag, but he's very tight on the small blinds, and we have enough hands to take some conclusions. We have 56, so he's playing 7-6. Then we have, okay, this player seems tight. This player seems a rag. It's okay, but I think it's enough information for us to open this one. Yeah, we would lose against this one, but anyway, I think the right play is to open.
Long run.
Yeah, long run. We have, okay, this is a shove. Okay, perfect. This is a standard one. Nothing. You don't need information for this one. Of course, sometimes he can trap here, but most of the time he will have something like Queen Jack suited, King Jack suited, sixes, and he didn't want to shove against him because he has a better stack now. Ace 10, something like that. So this is a profitable shove, and he calls. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe it's even better to not to shove, but to do a raise to challenge, so that it's more profitable than just shoving. Maybe in this case you are leading them. They have opportunity to do bigger mistakes maybe.
I think with a hand like Ace Queen off, I prefer the shove. Okay. Because it's still a hand that is very vulnerable post flop. You still need to hit, you know. Of course, if you have aces, if you have kings, if you have queens, and your opponents seem a little bit on the loser side, and they are very sticky, and they want to see flops and all of that, I think you can do a smaller raise, something like 8k, and then put the rest on the flop.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course, it seems a lot stronger too, you know. So you have to balance a little bit. You have to choose the right opponents. But even when you have Ace King suited, you still have to hit. And if they are very sticky and they decide to go there with 9-8, 6-7, 10-9, it's like still 60% for you and 40% for them. So 40% of the time is still a lot. And he will win the pot some percentage, you know. And when you shove right away, it's like instant money most of the time. So you can do that, but I think people tend to overestimate the Ace King and the Ace Queen in this type of smaller 3-bets, you know. These two hands, Ace King and Ace Queen, they are still very vulnerable post flop. You know, so it's tough sometimes, especially the offsuit versions. Okay, these ones I really prefer to shove.
Okay.
But I understand what you mean. And now here he decided to call with ace check. I think it's a tough spot on him. It's tough. It's tough on him. I understand the flat. I prefer the shove, to be honest. I think he has the perfect stack to shove on this guy. He still has a lot of fold equity. 17 to 35, 36. So he still has a lot of fold equity. This guy is the chip leader of the table, so he will try to bully the table a little bit, and he can open a lot. So ace check here is a shove. And if he shoves, you will look at your ace queen and you say, I don't know what to do here. It's tough. It's tough, you know.
Because of the big stack.
Yeah, it's tough because okay, it's ace queen, but it's not the nuts here, you know. And even if you don't fold at this time, sometimes you will fold, you know. And let's say he will make you fold. Okay, let's say 30% of the time. And you only call the other 70% of the time. Sometimes he will gain a lot of money by making you fold a hand that is dominating him. Okay, so here easy squeeze. Okay. Okay, let me check this one. If it can be a wide opening hand. Yeah, I don't think so. This one is the chip leader. And is no, so you are chip leader, of course, no, but is the second one and is a little bit loose. This one is very passive, This is the guy who's flatting very short, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the same guy. So only looking at these two, I don't think the Jack 7 suited is enough. Of course, it would be enough against the big blind to try to take the antes and the blinds, but again, with these two in play, I think I prefer a fold. Yeah, as you can see, this guy is opening and this guy is still flatting. Yeah. Aces, ace 9. Okay. Let me check. 15. Yeah, it's more. I don't think this guy has too much fold equity, you know, but this 9 is probably borderline here.
It's a border for sure.
Yeah, it's borderline. The ace 9 suited against this guy because he seems a little bit tight. 15, 16 VPIPM preflop raise. He has one reshoving stack, or if he is paying attention, he knows this guy is flatting a lot. He has a bigger stack that can shove. He knows he's gonna be all in against this one, so he needs a better than average hand to open here. So I think the ace 9 is a little bit borderline.
So regarding this position, if we open, then we need to call these two shortish of that hand. So we open with this kind of hand here.
Yeah, we only open here with a hand that probably can call these guys.
For example,
I think Jack 10 and I think not. To be honest, I think that hands are open raise folders. I think you can have an open raise call and an open raise fold. So open raise call the obvious ones. I think like this. I think this is open raises. Even the king queen suited is like the sad open raise call. You know, you are a bit sad, but you have to go with it. The ace 10 is an open raise call. Then you can have another type of strategies. I think on the hijack, I don't like to implement that much, but on cutoff and the button, you can limp. You know. When you don't want the 15 big blind stacks to shove over you, but you still have a very nice hand to play post flop, you just can limp, you know, and you limp, and if they shove the 15 big blinds, you fold, but you lost a lesser amount, and if they only raise like to 2.5, 2.7, 3.2, you can just limp call, you know, and that way you can use all of these ones to. Maybe not this, but like this. You can use all of this maybe to open raise folds.
But I need to consider as well in my
strategy. Yeah. You can use all of this to limp fold or to limp call. Then you have to look at the stats and see which one is the better. Maybe if they 3-bet a lot, maybe you can just limp. If
get curious and cautious, then
yeah. And they will try. They will think, oh, he's trapping, and they will get scared. And okay, I cannot shove my ace 9 here. So you will see the flop, you will stab, and you will win. You know. So against players who 3-bet a lot, maybe you can limp more. Against players who don't 3-bet that much, you can open. Yeah, min raise fold this range, you know, and this is the type of exploit that I think you can use at this moment, especially because you have a big stack. You don't want to lose 15k here, you know. I think it's better here, or it's a smaller mistake to open raise fold a profitable hand and just lose like 4k, 3k, you know. 2.5k instead of open raising and calling a hand that it's marginal, but sometimes you will lose the 15k and you will get to a stack that it's unable to pressure all the table.
Can we use this limp strategy at final table?
Yeah. No, you can. Yeah, you can for sure. Even in the final table, you can do this even more in late position. Because in the final table, because of the ICM, your stack gets even, let's say, more important because of the pay jump structure, and you really don't want big confrontations against any stack. You know, even if the stack is only 5 big blinds, 6 big blinds, 8 big blinds. If you only have 20, you know, it's like half of your stack. So you don't want to confront with them. Okay, if you have 50 bigs and they have 5, okay, no problem there. But there is almost no ICM in that situation. But with the especially in the turbo tournaments, with the short average stack, you really want to avoid confrontation. So the ICM is even a bigger concern in the final table, and you can limp a lot.
Play against the Rex at final table or pre-final table.
Yeah. Normally my approach on the final table, it's like I always start with a open race strategy, you know, because I want to make them afraid. You know what I mean? It's psychological. You know, it's psychological. I think I get a bigger psychological edge, and they start to be afraid, and then it's very easy for me to fold when they shove, because I know they have it. You know what I mean? I start that way. But if I start that way and some guy decides to shove on me 3 times in a row, you know, and all of them start to counter attack with 3 bets, okay, that way I change my strategy and I start to limp. And I start to play a little bit more tight, I start to limp, and then I start to change. I think we have to be very versatile, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have to be able to change and to adapt quickly. The more quick we adapt, the better we are going to be in the final table.
And you also use the same when 2 tables left as well, yeah, or 3 tables or something like that, yeah.
Especially 2 tables left. Final table bubble. 3 tables I try to play normally still.
Okay,
but it's like that. When I start to get closer to the final table, I think last 3-4 tables in a big tournament, or maybe last 2 tables in a sit and go, I start to pay more attention where my position is on the tournament. If I'm in the top 10, if I'm in the top 5, I don't want big confrontations, you know?
Yeah.
I think I prefer to avoid more marginal spots and to take lower variance spots, you know?
Okay.
Because you have to protect your equity in the tournament. Of course, if you are in the money in a big tournament, but you are still 200 guys, okay, I don't care, you know. It's like I have to build a big stack.
Yeah.
Okay, these are folds. This is still a fold. It's too weak, and you are committed against this guy. So
they show it, they have it.
yeah, this is a fold. Okay. This is still a fold. So this one is like, this is an interesting one. Let's say if they all fold and the small blind shoves. Yeah, I know it's a call, but do we really want to call 17k with ace-6 against the guy that is playing 7-6 VPIP? You know, it's like, I think here I will look at this spot and I'll say, yeah, I know it's a fold. I know it's a call. I know the chart says it's a call, but do I really want to call here? It's like, in the long run, it's a profitable, blah 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 blah. But you know, it's like, for me as a player, I really like the math of the game. I understand the math of the game, but I don't think that's all. You know what I mean? And my advice to you is that sometimes the psychological aspect in the short term, it's more important, and I think this is one of the spots, because if you call here the shove from the small blind, you are making for sure a correct call with ace-6. Okay, mathematically this is okay, but now, and you know this for sure, it's a marginal one. You know, it's a marginal one against a 14 BB. So we give a marginal call and then we lose. And then we lose the opportunity to have a big stack close to the final table with position against the regular. It's important too, you know. It's important to have position. And then you will be with something like 18k, 15k, okay, it's still 12 bigs. You still have full equity, but now you have a big stack on your left.
Yeah, I got you. I understand.
You know what I mean? So it's not only look at the chart. Okay, it's profitable. Click the call button. It's not that, you know. Of course, this is more difficult when you are multi-tabling, of course.
Yeah.
And this comes from a little bit more experience and a little bit more of deep runs and all that stuff. And it's easier to say this when I'm just here talking to you, of course. But there are factors to consider, you know, and you have to consider all of this. And I like to avoid some of these spots because I want to keep my head clean for the final table, you know. And if I lose this and I get short, I will stay with this hand on my mind, you know, almost till the end. And I was, oh my god, if I didn't make that call, I would be like third place now, and I could pressure these guys, and they are so bad, and blah blah blah, you know. So you have to be careful here, you know. Of course, one thing is when you have the 40k. Other thing is if you have 12k. Okay, if you have 12k, this is a slam dunk call, you know, like snap call, because you have to try to double your stack.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, this easy folds, nothing to do. Okay, this one, yeah, this is still a fold.
Can you go back to the 3-6 hand, 3-6 of
this one? Okay.
Yeah, in these cases, let's say that it's folded to us, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and the stacks are equal to our ones, so like 20 bigs and more. Can we open with some, you know, trash hands to steal the blinds? Is it profitable or is it not?
Against the players that we have in our table, with the stats they are showing, I don't think I'm going to open bad hands because the button player is playing 43-18, so he will flat a lot. So my decision will come from the players. If they are tight, I will open. If they are loose or aggressive, like this one, this guy plays 21, 22, and he likes to 3-bet. Okay, with this type of players behind me, I'm folding a lot, and I'm only opening the more tight range, you know, that range that we all know that we have to open. If they are tight, okay, I'm opening the ace-5 off. I'm opening the 4-5 suited, all the pairs. You know, that king 10 off. That are hands that maybe normally against tough opponents I'm not opening that much.
Okay, understand. Thanks.
Okay, this is one of the spots. If they are very tight, if they are very tight, if they don't 3-bet, if they have that stats, do you have the PT4? So if they are playing like 12-12, 14-14, if the 3-bet is like 2, 3, 4, and this guy is playing, I don't know, maybe 12-7. Okay, if all of them are like that, I open the ace-3 off.
Yeah.
I know it's a shitty hand in this position, but I'm playing on the button effectively, you know.
Yeah,
They are going. One of them is going to calling me. I don't know, maybe 15% of the time. So I can open the ace-3 here, and all of them will fold most of the time. They will call me like 1 in 10 times. So I need to take this spot. But when they are with this, when they have these stats like they have now, I'm folding this one. Yeah, I think it's a better fold. Yeah.
I'm doing the same thing, I guess.
Yeah. So here, this is another case. This is another case of the same thing. If they are very tight, you can open, because against this stack, you don't care what you have. Yeah, you don't care. 5-4, okay, most of the time you won't be dominated, you know, you will just have a big ace and you have 40% of equity. So, and you have your 37, 32 is the same, you don't care. So here, the 5-4, you can open if they are very tight.
Or let's say we would have 70k stack, then we can call more loosely the smaller ones.
if you have sorry,
If you have 70 cases.
70. Yeah, you can you can, yeah, you can open, but to have a 70k at this point in the sit and go is difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the bigger stack you have, you can increase your open raise percentage. I don't know, maybe 2-3% more. You know, open a little bit, take more shots.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, this folds. So this guy's shoving 20 bigs. Okay.
Yeah.
This, yeah, this is important to pay attention. You know, of course you're not calling here, but if someone calls, you need to pay attention to the hands he's showing, and it's also a good spot to take a note. Okay. Standard, nothing to do here, and his shove is also standard, so nothing to do. This is a fold, this is a fold, this is a fold. Yeah, this is a fold too. Early position. Okay. Interesting, this one. No doubt is a call to the button, no doubt is a call to the small blind if they shove just for themselves. Now against both of them, with your stack and king queen off, I think I don't mind the call, to be honest.
It's 2-1 also, and it's
yeah, I think 31% it's what you need. I don't mind, and it's again the same. You have 50k, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like you have 20k. With 20k I'm not calling for sure, but with 50 I think I like the call. Yeah.
You have moves. You can offer a lose to yourself with this stack.
Yeah. I like the call here. It's a nice shot to take. And you, the good thing about this hand is that it can happen a lot like it did. Is that they both have one ace and they are taking outs to each other, you know, and you are in better shape with your king queen against the ranges. So this is a fold. I think this one is maybe still a fold.
Okay.
You can open if they are tight, but they don't seem too much tight. You know, they 30, 25 3-bet, so it's only 20 hands, but we know this guy knows to 3-bet and likes to play. The blinds don't seem that tight. The button can reshove, so maybe I can, if it's suited, I'm opening like this. I think I'm folding.
I think it's final table, isn't it, or not? I don't remember. Is it a final table? Maybe.
I'm not sure if it's too. So it's 91 hands. We are still in the half of the number of hands. I'm not sure. So if it's final table, I think the king queen call, it's a fold.
No, it's not the final table.
It's not. Yeah. It's probably yeah. Maybe you change table at the maybe you change table at pre-final table. I think it's still not the final table. Okay, so you have two calls here. I think I'm c-betting here. Normally we want to check our mid pairs, so we have a mid pair here, but we have a very vulnerable mid pair, you know, and I think we can make like 4.5k and fold to a raise, and we are still protecting a lot against the queen 10, the king queen, the ace 9s, ace 10s, you know. I think it's a small c-bet spot. Now he'll, and we avoid this thing. We also avoid the big turn bet, you know, because now I think you have to fold. The size is too big, and if you call, you will shove all the rivers. Not all, but most of the time you will also shove the river, and you will get in a tough spot. So now I think it's a fold. Yeah, perfect. So this is a fold, and now I think it's this the final table. Yeah, this is the final table. So now we have ICM in play. Okay. So this is a shove, and I prefer the shove instead of a small 3-bet. And let me say why. Because if this guy decides, let's say you make it I don't know, 11k. Okay, yeah, it's too small. 12k, let's say 12.5k, and this guy decides, okay, he's full of shit. He is the ship leader. He wants to pressure me. I won't take that. I'm going to take a stand now while I still have some fold equity, you know. And he decides to shove his ace-5 suited. His suited ace, because in this spot they always choose to shove a blocker, you know. They prefer to shove the ace-x suited. You are only 70% against him, you know. So in some spots in the final table, especially against the bigger stacks, you just want to avoid them to make some bluffs that you will have to call. You know what I mean? So here I think I prefer a shove. Ooh, I didn't saw this one. I didn't saw this one, and I guessed this one. I didn't saw this one. I only saw some of the first hands of your sit and go. So I guessed this one. Yeah, and now you have to call, and you know, if you lose this one, you'll get in a bad spot with your stack. You know. So let me see if this was a fair shove or a bluff. Yeah, it was a bluff. Yeah, I guess this one totally. This is very funny. Yeah, but in his shoes, you know, you shouldn't get stubborn. You know, there is no need, because he opens. Okay, he stays with the 36k, and he is still like third in the, yeah, he's still third in the table with short stack, short stack, short stack, short stack, short stack. You know, this is a spewy play. You know, he's spewing ships. And your play, I think, it's okay. Don't get me wrong. Your play, it's okay. Soccer, it's Portuguese. Sorry, but I think it's better to just shove here, and the small 3-bet, I think it's better when you do it with aces, okay?
Yeah.
And then you can do it with some bluffs you like to add to your range, you know? Yeah, and then you can fold. Because I think you don't need to balance that much. You just need to show them aces sometimes, and they will get scared, and you can start to have a big 3-bet range, because they know that sometimes you have the aces too, you know.
Yeah. But if you would have been on his shoes, would you just shove the ace 9?
No. I will fold. I will fold. Yeah, it's too loose. You cannot, especially with the short stacks here.
Yeah. Okay.
You cannot. I think you don't have bluffs here.
Yeah.
You at least you shouldn't have too many bluffs here. I think the 4-bet range would be a standard one, especially because when you make 16k, it doesn't have that fold equity, you know. It doesn't have that much fold equity, so it's something like probably this, the green, the red ones, okay. The red ones, and I'm not very happy with the 9s and with the ace queen, okay. So maybe those ones sometimes I can flat and reevaluate, you know. Of course you have some high 3-bet stat, you know. He knows you are 3-betting sometimes, of course, but even in that case, even if I know he's 3-betting a lot, I still have to protect my position on the sit and go and on the final table, you know. And this is a fold, of course. Yeah, only the top of the range. Okay. So this is a shove. I think this is a nice shove, because he's pressured by the ICM with the two shorter stacks, and shoving queen 10 off on small versus big is profitable on itself. Okay, perfect. Okay, this is a fold. This is a fold. Okay, and we see that guy second time he plays. This is a fold.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is a fold. Of course, you have the massive ship lead, but you still don't want to double up neither of these guys, you know.
I open.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it's still a bit too early. It's a fold because it's like they know you're going open. They know you are going to open very light, you know. So if they know, don't open that much. Of course, you are opening a little bit more, but okay. This is a walk. This is the type of hand that if the cutoff or the button open raises, we are shoving. I think the ace 10 off. I think it's a perfect situation. If you lose, you still have a healthy stack, and you put a lot of pressure on them with the shorts here. If this guy shoves, I think this is still a call. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, unless one of them shoves or one of them opens something like 3.5x, you know, something like 6k, 7k, like a massive raise, maybe you can fold. But if he opens a normal standard size, something like 5k, I think you have to shove. Here is a very good spot to apply pressure. Okay, so this is maybe a pressure spot again. This is also my personal approach. When I have a big stack, I'm like a maniac, you know. I pressure a lot because I think with your massive stack you can afford to lose one all-in, you know, and they can't. So this one can be a pressure spot. Yeah, now you can decide for yourself what do you prefer. Maybe you can do something like 11k, you know.
Yeah.
You can do 11k and fold to a shove, and now you know.
I'm doing like this.
Yeah, and you don't need just to put the 40k there.
Yeah.
You know, you put 11, and I think the response will be almost the same. The range he will call if you shove is the range that will shove on you if you do a small size. So I think here you prefer a smaller size, and if he shoves, you know, okay, I cannot mess around too much with this guy because he's going to play back at me.
So we have this small size we do with the blocker cards normally, yeah.
Yeah. I think the better ones are the ones with the blocker. Yeah.
Okay. Not some suited stuff.
Yeah. No. I think if you have to choose a 3-bet shove instead of a 3-bet small. Yeah, a small 3-bet. I think for the small 3-bet you would prefer the blockers, and for the shove you prefer the connectors, because when you are called you are less dominated with the connectors than with the ace, you know. So if you shove the ace 4, you know that when you are called he has a pair or an ace better, and if you have the suited connector you are in better shape against the aces. Again, like you prefer to have a 9-8 than the ace 4 against the ace king or ace queen. So you can split your decisions in these two type of ranges. Okay, and you folded here, but okay, I think the normal place to fold here, like 80% of the time you will fold this hand. Maybe sometimes you will decide with this specific ace 4 to 3-bet this guy sometimes, okay? The normal place to fold. Okay, so here is another spot. It's like if I have the feeling these guys are playing very tight on the final table, okay? Because sometimes they are playing like very wild during the tournament, but then on the final table they start to get scared. If they seem very scared here, if they didn't play back at me or at the other players on the table, I'm going to open this one. It's very loose, I know, but I'm opening, okay? Okay, so this is an ace queen, this is normal shove, normal call, nothing too fancy. Yeah, nothing too fancy. Okay, this is a fold. Here, let's see. I think this is an open fold. I think on the final table you have to be able to do more open raise folding. Okay, because you know that they are shoving more tight also. So this is a spot I think is an open raise fold, and I think I like this spot because as soon as you open raise and this guy folds, they are very pressured to fold also. You know, when the short stack folds, and you will have to fold a lot because you are opening in the first position, and he only has he needs to have a very good range to shove here. Even 7 big blinds. When he folds, they are very pressured to fold, so I like to open raise here. Yeah, but I don't think I will shove.
Okay.
I think it's not. Yeah, I think it's the second best choice. Okay, I think it's the second best choice. Then I think this will depend a little bit on the feeling you have during the final table play. You know, if you are seeing this guy on the cutoff or the guy on the button defending a lot, the shove is better for sure. Yeah, and if they are folding a lot, if they are not messing around, if they are only playing the normal hands they should be playing, I think the open raise is better here. Okay. But because I'm only seeing your hands, I don't know how they are playing too much. I only can see the stats. I don't know if they are playing very loose or not. So I cannot give you too many advice on that, but the shove here is the second best option for sure. And he calls 9-10 with it. It's ridiculous. Okay, this is ridiculous. Okay, don't get mad, but this guy doesn't know how to play for sure. At least on ICM environment.
Of course.
Yeah, and then here they split ace jack. Yeah, I don't like that. I'm not a big fan of the ace jack call.
No, it's not a call.
Yeah, even when he only has 8 big blinds, when he shoves 16 bigs from early position, this is not. This is not a call.
If you use ICMizer.
Yeah, this is not a call. So here, now that I know this guy is a crazy one, I'm folding a lot. I'm folding a lot. I think this is one of the boards you wanna stab. Okay, so you don't have showdown value, and you have the backdoor straight. Okay, and you still have an overcard to the 6. The board is very dry, so I think this is the one you just put. I don't know, 2K.
Yeah, but why I did it like this because he's a maniac and
yeah.
Plan to check raise him, I guess.
Yeah, but I think you. And I understand that thought process, but against a maniac, you really want to mess around with him.
But because he will shove a lot on this kind of board as a maniac.
If you again.
If I do a C bet right now, he will shove over me a lot on this kind of.
Yeah, okay, but you can fold your 4-7 with no problem, you know. I think it's much better. Let's say you decided to limp kings here.
Yeah.
Okay, and you were trying to trap him, but he checked behind. Okay, kings, I prefer to check for sure. No problem, because if you bet kings and he shoves, you have to fold. You know, it's a shitty spot, and you cannot call and see a 10 there. And he will have it sometimes. So I think this hand, you want to stab that hands that are very easy to bet fold or are very easy to bet call. The other ones you prefer to just check fold or check call. So I think here you want to bet fold something like 9-7, 9-8, Queen Jack in spades, in diamonds or in clubs, any 6. Any backdoor hand, you know, around the 6 or around the 10, you can just bet as a bluff. Then you can bet any 10 or 6s, for example, as a bet call, and the other ones you just check fold or check call. I think it's more balanced, and it's more how to say, you don't get in Yeah, you don't get in tough spots, you know, and you really don't want against a player that is unpredictable. He's a wild card for you, no? And you have to lower your variance against him. Check, check. Okay, I think you can use a smaller size here because it's the thing we talked about earlier. It's same result with a smaller bet, you know. Okay. Okay, this is an open raise. Yeah, I think I don't shove.
Okay.
I think I don't shove. I totally understand the shove, but against some guy we know he's not capable of making ICM folds, you know. We are not using ICM pressure because it's not, you know, if he's not folding, yeah, it's not working against him. You can only use ICM against guys that understand a little bit of ICM. And this guy looks at ace jack suited and thinks, this guy's a big stack, is pressuring, I'm calling, you know. And so I prefer the open raise fold at this point. Only, of course, only because we know this guy is a little bit crazy, you know. Of course, against the normal regulars, that is a good shove. So here I'm folding because of him again. Okay, only if the guy on the button is tight.
Or the regular who
yeah, sure. So let me see. This is a bust out hand. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, and I really don't like the play from the ace-9. Small 3-bet against a player that is crazy. We just want to shove or to fold against him, you know. We are giving him rope to hang, but he will hang us, you know. This is the type of play you will do with aces. Against him, for sure, aces. Very good, but maybe king sometimes. But ace-queen, ace-king, you don't want to do this. Just shove, and avoid these situations because you are paying a very big price for. It's a small mistake, of course, if you do the small 3-bet with the ace queen or ace king here, you know. But it's a small mistake, but you pay a big price. So now you are getting in a tougher spot because he's getting a big stack. I think you have to be extra careful now, okay? So I'm folding here the ace-5. Okay, here 3-bets and calls. Okay, nothing. This is not a big mistake, you know. This is the type of little adaptations you can do because of the game history against this guy, you know. And he's showing us that he's willing to play, he's willing to call 3-bets, and we really don't want to play too much against him because yeah. It's the only guy that can hurt us, so we don't need to force spots against him. Okay, tens, ace, king. Okay, yeah, I think this is. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's giving the history. Tens here is probably the bottom. Okay, this guy knows you are opening a lot, you have a big stack, blah blah blah, all that stuff, and he makes a big 3-bet. Okay, maybe he can do this with 9 sometimes. I don't know for sure. So 10s here is the bottom for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay, a walk seems good. Okay, here I think I'm going for a limp. I really don't want to raise and have him 3-bet on me. So I think here I'm going for a limp, and then if he raises, I think I'm going to shove. You know, it's like I want to be the one who makes the all-in, not the one who gets in a tough position to decide if I have to call with a medium hand or not. So I think I prefer. Okay, so now 9s here. 9s here I think is a check. Because I think, if you remember, I was saying to you that some middle pairs should c-bet because they are a little bit vulnerable to overcards. I think in a cheap EV environment, that's totally true. Now in an ICM environment, I think you have to be extra careful, you know, with your c-bets. So maybe here I think this can be a check, or a very, very small bet, you know, like 3.5k, something like that. Just the amount enough for him to fold the ace tens, the king jacks, you know, that type of hands. He decided to check, and I like this. Now it's a check call, of course. This is another check call. Okay, now I think you can value bet. You don't need to value bet that much, because I think if he decided to bet the queen on the flop, he would keep betting on the turn, even a small amount, you know. So when he bets on the flop, checks turn, maybe he was trying to bet just a small pair, an ace high. So I think you can get some value on this river, but with a smaller size, something like 7k, 8k, not that much. Check, check. I think you lost some value here. Yeah, you lost some value here. Yeah, it didn't seem too interested in the pot, you know. So I think you can value bet that river. Of course, it's more difficult to make a more or less thin value bet against a player we know is a little bit on the loser side, on the maniac side. But even so, we shouldn't let this type of spots go, because it's a clear value bet here with nines. Okay. And we saw now that he's also defending wide against you. Okay, this is a fold and a call. So ace queen, king jack. Yeah, king jack is probably the bottom with 10 bigs. Yeah, I think you should fold, because this guy is shoving 20 bigs, not 10. If he's shoving 10 bigs, okay, his range is wider, but now he's shoving 20 bigs against the two big stacks. The two only stacks that can bust him from the final table. So the king jack suited is not for sure winning here, because he's doing this. Maybe the worst hands that I can see him do this is like 8s, 9s, and then is all the time ace queen, ace king, all the time. And this guy is most of the time dominated, so I don't think that's a good call. But apparently he won. Yeah, he won. Okay, this is a fold. This also a fold. This is a fold. Okay, so here I think I'm changing my strategy regarding the nines hand, because in the nines hand he had a bigger stack. Okay, he had 30 something blinds, I think. Now he only has 24, and now he is more pressured about this stack and about this stack. And I think we have a hand that even if he decides to call lighter, we can dominate some hands, because this is the type of guy that will call you with ace 10 suited, with ace jack suited, with ace jack off, sometimes with king queen suited. So I think this one is better to just shove. Here I prefer the shove. Okay, you open raise. Do you understand my reasoning behind the hands? Yeah, it's like when the stack that he has in this special case of this guy that is a bit crazy can hurt you a lot. I think you prefer a smaller variance approach on your play. When you can take a big hit on your stack, and now, okay, against him you really don't want to, but you can take it. In the reality, you can lose the 50k and still be second or third on the tournament, and at the same time he can call you with a hand that you dominate. I think it's better to shove and to apply the pressure. Yeah. Okay, this is a fold. If not, you could open raise this one, min raise. And this is a fold. This is an open fold, I think. Yeah, I like this one. Perfect. This is tough. This is tough. I think here I will min bet. I don't mind to min bet here.
So was I.
Yeah, but I really don't mind to use the 3k.
Okay.
Like maybe not 3 because they can get a little bit stubborn, but I will use less than 6. Okay, but okay, this is another detail. You can use like 4.5 and the result is the same. If he wants to get stubborn, he will get stubborn against 4.5 or against 8. So yeah, you use the smaller one, the one that gives you more advantage in terms of play, and he folds perfect. But I really like the decision you made to c-bet here. Okay, that's a very good decision.
Because he would shove aces or...
Yeah. Yes, totally right. Okay, another bet call. So force, I don't think it's a call there. I don't think force. Yeah, I think it's only 20k, but I think it's still too much. It's cut off, and he really doesn't want. Yeah, he's going to be in a world full of shit if he loses. so he doesn't want to call there with force. Okay. Yeah. Okay, now I think this is this one is tough again because this special guy. So against a normal reg, this is a shove, no doubt, because of this small stack. Okay, you can shove almost any 2 here. So 10-9 is a little bit connected. Even if you get called by ace king, you have a good equity. This would be a shove for sure against a normal reg. Against this guy, it gets a little bit tricky because of the history, and we've seen he's capable of doing some light calling, and I don't see him folding like a medium good hand here against you. So I think I would limp here, just because he's a little bit crazy, you know. Okay, but if you open raise and he seems to be folding now, okay, this is the better strategy. Okay, if during the final table you pick up that he's getting a little bit more tight because the prices are getting bigger and he's folding a little bit more, okay, I think I prefer your strategy. Okay, maybe the only thing I will say is that small blind against big blind, you really want to have a sizer a little bit bigger. Yeah, you have to like 7 point something k. Okay. Again, I think this one we can open raise. Okay, we have position. This guy is still very short. This one is one you can open raise in position without problem. Here I think it's a fold only because he has position on us. Okay. Yeah. It's okay, no problem. You know, it's funny because it's very similar, the spot of the 10 deuce suited and the 10-7 off, and you prefer to fold the 10 deuce suited, and I prefer to open that one, and I prefer to fold this one, and you prefer to open this one. It's funny, but it's like, I think the things I consider here is like, for me 10 deuce suited and 10-7 off is the same. Okay. For me, it's more or less the same. I know. For me to have profit with this hand, I need to bluff most of the time. But on the other way, here I have position against the player I don't like to play against, and in the 10-7 I don't have the position. You know, so that's why I think the 10 deuce it's a better spot to open raise. Okay.
Because maybe I thought my thought process was that if you open from the big blind, then they shove more to you. I don't know why. Maybe.
I understand what you mean, but I think after the small stack folded, it's more or less all the same. You know.
Yeah.
After he folds, they are going to shove very tight. So I prefer to. Yeah. So I prefer to open when I am on the button instead of when I am in the cutoff with this player behind. So this is again an open. Yeah, perfect. And okay, call, and we are happy with a 7. Perfect. Okay. This is a shove. I think I prefer to shove against this guy again. Yeah, you are having the open raise strategy. No, that's no problem. But it's my approach. I think I prefer to. Yeah, my approach to this type of spots is these hands I prefer to shove, and some better hands I prefer to open raise call, and some worst hands I prefer to open raise fold, you know? And the middle-ish part of the range I prefer to just shove and don't give him the opportunity to take a stand against me, okay? Especially when he is in second place on the tournament, of course. If he's in the last place, for example, I will induce, okay? This is the type of balanced, and you always have to pay attention to the stack distribution and to the different places that the players are in. Yeah, the paying structure. You need to know if this guy is on second place or in the third place, because or in the last place, because I will play different if he's in second or if he's in last. If he's in last, I will induce, because the ICM doesn't matter to him. He's already destined to have the worst place on the tournament, so he will take more stands. He will try to pressure more spots, and against a player of that type, I can induce my ace queen, because he will shove a lot of aces and I will dominate most of his range. But if he's in second place, I just want him to fold, and I want to pressure him. Yeah, so I shove. So this is open raise. Okay. Yeah, I would say this one you can fold, you can open, but if they are folding a lot, this seems alright. This seems right. Nothing. Yeah.
This guy got tired of the crazy one, so.
Yeah. So yeah, this is okay. So here I think we can use again a small c-bet. Yeah, and now okay. Small flop c-bet, yeah, or delayed, it's okay, but you have to pressure, of course, at some point in this hand here against this guy. Sure. Nice walk. Okay. Yeah. Now okay. But it's just the first one after, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 times you raise the small blind, so it's no problem. You are winning money open raising. So here, yeah, I prefer the shove for sure. And he calls now. Okay, yeah, and you give him the suck out, but nothing. Yeah, I think it's I think he has 17, 12, 11, and you have you have to shove here. It's the better play. So this is okay. Of course, we have to get lucky sometimes to win tournaments. So yeah, that's for sure. We just have to take it with a smile.
It's so difficult, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so here you are using an open raise strategy. I like it because they seem very they don't shove enough, so you can almost open any button. Okay, perfect. Just call him. Ooh, okay. This is a shove. Perfect. This is an open raise. Yeah, against these two, maybe. Yeah. So, okay, now they start to adapt a little bit, it seems. This is a shove. Perfect. This is a shove. Yes. Good. This is a shove, I think. Yeah. It's the same. It's the same thing that earlier. It's like I prefer not to give him the option to limp ship on me. You know, because if he's limping like ace jack off to do this, he will be in a very bad spot if I just shove my ace 5, you know, because he doesn't want to bust before this guy. So I prefer the shove here. It's like 20 bigs. Of course, if he has something like 30, maybe I'm not shoving, because 30 bigs is a little bit too much, but till 20, 22, I think you can do you can shove your entire stack and put a lot of pressure, because again he's in second place, you know. And
for first time, so that's
yeah. Okay, this is a fold. This is a I think this one is a fold, because you really don't want to open a raise fold to this guy. So and he has already shoved one time, so this one I think I'll fold this one. Okay, yeah, but it's okay. No, nothing. Mm,
That's a mistake, I guess. It just should have been shoved or folded or checked.
yeah, I think I prefer the check. Because even against a limping range, your 8-4 doesn't perform that well.
Yeah.
So I think now this is a mistake.
Yeah, I should call.
Yeah. So the first one, I think it's a mistake also. Okay, you just check, and see a flop and reevaluate, and then after you do the first mistake, okay, it's not a big deal because it's very short, So this one is, I think this one is a bigger mistake than the first one.
Okay.
Okay, because you are not folding 8k when you have 200.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure, of course.
Okay, so this is no big deal. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know, but no, I don't know if you remember, but maybe the first one was a misclick, and then you said, "Oh, I did a misclick. Let me fold this one." Okay, but with your big stack.
I remember that.
Oh, okay.
It's a mistake.
Okay.
So, I just thought that to keep him a little bit alive, to suck the other one, the big.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's also okay. So here I think we can shove.
I would have called also, whatever.
Yeah, but the Queen 7 performs better as a shove than a open raise call, because we know that you are committed against this stack, So the Queen 7 is a better shove, and maybe something like the Ace 10 is a better open raise call, You need a better hand to open raise. Okay, this is a fold, seems okay. This is a fold. Ace, okay. This is a fold. Perfect. This is a shove. Perfect. And we get called. Nice. Okay. And then we are heads up. Okay, so my approach to the heads up, as I told you earlier, is like I like to start with a very aggressive strategy. Okay?
Yeah.
Because I like to set the tone. Like, I'm gonna be the aggressive one. Okay, be careful with me. And then if the guy starts to 3-bet me a lot or to also open raise a lot, then I start to cool it down, and okay, be more careful and try to use other strategies that are better fit for an aggressive player. Okay.
But this one was a fish and it was a long heads up.
But it's like when you know he's a fish, you really don't want to double him up,
Yeah.
in a variance spot. You like against the fish, when you have such a big difference in stack sizes, you can just take your time, let the spots come to you, don't force nothing, and it's just it will be like a limp, and then, or okay, in this type it was raise, but if he starts to get aggressive, you can just limp in the button, try to outplay him post flop, and it's the type of heads up you cannot lose, with all this stack size margin. Okay, here. I'm thinking on his highs. Where do you seem weaker, when you shove or if you do like 8k? You know what I mean? Maybe he will call you wider if you shove. Maybe he will call you wider with a 4 or with a 3, something like, I don't know, King 3, because he starts to think that you have a flush draw or a 6 or a 5, and he will call you wider, like when you shove. Of course, in this spot you are not folding your top pair anyway, so maybe this way you can induce him. I don't mind either play. Okay. Okay. I think I'm folding this one. I think I'm not opening.
Okay.
I think this one I'm folding.
It's too loose because.
Yeah. And now I think you just have to shove your gut shot. I think now that you decide that you have to open the deuce 7, you have your gut shot. You can still make him fold lots of queen 9s, queen 3, queen, jack x type of hands, 10x. So he still has lots of hands that will fold when you shove, that can win to you in showdown. you know, that are better than a 7 high. So I think here you can just shove. Yeah. Maybe this one he wouldn't fold for sure, but other type of hands he would fold. Raise, fold. Okay. Yeah, that one you can call. Against the min raise, this one is enough for you to call. This is a shove. Okay. This is a shove. Yeah, I think any ace you can shove.
Okay.
Because if he shoves, he will call with an ace. I think you have to call with any ace against his shove. Even if he is a fish, okay, I understand that, but this is heads up and he only has 10 bigs. So I think any ace you can call, and you can double him up one time and still have a massive ship lead. Most of the hands I will call a shove. I'm 3-bet shoving. This one I think you can shove, no big deal. Because the thing is that this type of players, they are very unbalanced. They open raise not because they think is a profitable hand, but because they like the hand, or they think it's an open. But sometimes they like king 5, you know. It's and then yeah, it's like very random. It's very random. So I think you can shove here your ace, no problem. Okay, so he's defending with a short stack. He's defending. So here I think I'm going to c-bet like 5k, something like that. I think it's the same story. Middle pair, but very low middle pair. You know, very vulnerable to some middle cards you can have that will fold to your c-bet. I prefer to c-bet them. Now I think it's yes, delayed c-bet and his check raise is strange, very strange. Very strange. Very strange.
I think it's a bluff.
Yeah, it seems a bluff, but what type of hand does he want to bluff here that he doesn't want maybe to stab himself the turn, you know? If he has something like, I don't know, 3-4, 6-4, flush draw, he can start to bet himself on the turn, because yeah, maybe sometimes on the flop, but maybe on the turn when you check behind the flop and maybe you could think, okay, this guy doesn't have a king because he didn't c-bet. Now I can represent a little bit more of a king, and I can use some flush draws, some straight draws without showdown equity to bluff myself. I think it's strange that he decides to use the check raise on the turn. Yeah, I'm trying to decide what in game would I do, and it doesn't make any sense. But the problem is that against a random player, you know, a random fish, they sometimes decide to do this like with sevens, you know, and then you see the hand or with I don't know, queen 5, ace 5, and then we get like stacked off without reason. So I think maybe and to follow the advice I gave you in the beginning of heads up, no need to take borderline spots against this type of guys. So I think yeah, if you folded, I like it, because we still keep a big advantage, playable stacks, and he still has a stack where you can open shove a lot and put the pressure. So seems the okay decision. So yeah, so this is a shove. I think I prefer a shove, this one. Okay, nice one. I think we can check call here. I think with another 6 maybe I would lead with this 6-5, because we have backdoor spades and backdoor straights. I think this one is stronger, is a stronger 6, you know, like 6-5, 6-4, 6-7, 6-8, and 6-9, especially with a spade, are the ones I think I prefer to check call instead of just lead here, you know, because if you lead and he raises, you will be in a very bad place. So now this one I think is a very good check call hand. Perfect. Here I think you can check call again, and give him some rope to try to bluff anything. You also can bet call. Of course, if you bet like 6k and he shoves, and he sometimes in the previous hands he would raise the turn a lot, almost his entire stack. You will get in a bad spot. But I think here you can check call and you can bet call for a smaller size. So any one of the I like the size. Any calls seems okay, and then I think we have to bet again. Now I'm thinking if it's better to. I think when the flush card hits, I think we prefer a check call.
Yeah, I also
because you don't want you really don't want him to have a 5, you know, and you bet and he shoves and you fold your hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? If he has some 5 and he overplays his straight, you really don't want him to shove on you, and you will go like, okay, this guy has a flush, I will fold this time, and then you are folding a split. So I think a check call is better here. Yeah, you shoved, but okay, in game.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because you only get called by better. Yeah, because I'm not seeing this type of guy folding a 5, you know.
Yeah.
So he's not folding a split. So you are only splitting or losing here. So I think it's better to give him rope to he bluff, you know, the river. He tries to bluff instead of shoving yourself. Okay, I think this can be a bet call or a check back. Anyway, I'm okay with the play. Okay, he checks. I think now you have to stab, because any pair, any decent draw, any decent hand, I think you will stab the turn. So I think you can go as low as 6k here, I think. Because just because you don't have showdown value, you know. If you have something like king 5, I don't mind, but 10-5 I think is too low. Yeah, you know. Of course, you wouldn't fold ace check, but I think the better play would be to stab, or the flop, or the turn. And okay, let's see the pre-flop. You open and he didn't shove the ace check. Of course, big mistake. But now we know that maybe we can open raise fold more, because he only shoves the top of the range, you know. Okay.
I just tried to do what just tested this move.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think he would fold many times, you know. To be honest, I don't think this type of players are folding too much against a mean 3-bet. But okay, it's a test. I don't mind. It's okay. Especially when you have so much room, you know, to try things. I don't mind you to test this, but I don't think it would be very successful against this player. Okay. Yeah, it's tough now. It's tough. You made a small c-bet, and I agree. You have to make a small c-bet here. Then gets tough, because it's not a turn that improves your range. When you 3-bet that small, you should have a wide 3-bet range. So, but I don't think a deuce would improve your range too much. So I like the check, and then when the 6 comes, I think it improves more his range than yours. So I think it's a check fold. Yeah, seems okay. Okay. Now he had 17. Okay. It's okay. Mathematic wise, against this player, we know he's not shoving the ace check. So maybe we can open raise fold this one. You know what I mean? It's like it's sick. It's very sick. But if I was in your shoes and I open raise this hand, I would be crazy I will be very mad because, but I have to fold this one. If the guy is showing us that he's not shoving the ace jack, we can open raise fold ace 10, you know? Yeah, it's crazy, but I think it makes some sense. Okay, now he decided to go with it with the ace 10. It's very, they are complete. Yeah. They are completely random. That's why it's tough to play against this type of fish. It's again, you have to be very patient. You have to be willing to take some bits, you know, to take some punches, and then to give yourself some of your own. Okay, limp raise, another random play from him. Okay, raise, fold. Okay, I think this one is a fold. Yep. Raise, call. Okay. Check. Yeah, I think this one you have to bet. I would prefer a bigger size. The board is very coordinated. He has a stack that is good for a check shove, and I think probably here you want to stack off. Yeah, because you're not very happy, but I think your hand is too strong because you are still dominating some top pairs, especially the ones with the straight draw. Also, you know, the queen 10, the jack 10, the 9 10, the 10 6. And he can still check shove some ace 7, ace 8, ace 9, a 9x flush draws, something like queen jack. Of course, maybe this is not the type of player that has all that hands in his check shove range, but he has some for sure, and you beat most of them. I think 10s, 8s, and 7s is probably shoving pre. So I think I prefer in such a coordinated board a bigger size. Yeah, something like 15. Okay, like 66% of the pot. Now I'm keeping barrel. I keep barreling. Okay. Check. And now number. Yeah, but I think with this spot size, you have to shove. You have to try to finish him off. You know, I think. Yeah, if he's going to get stubborn, I think this doesn't change that much. You know, maybe he hit a 9. Maybe he hit a second pair, so and he decides to get stubborn, and I think you have to shove. Yeah, I like to shove. No need, because the pot is so small, you know, that to bet 20k in 80k, I think for him is the same as betting the all in. And even if you bet 20, you maybe get, oh, this guy is trying to make me pay, so I'm not gonna pay him. You know, they get all that random thoughts, and maybe they fold. So I prefer the shove. 10. I think this is the bottom. You can fold or you can defend. This one, it's okay either way. Yeah, but when he has only 9 bigs, maybe this is a better fold. And if it was suited, maybe you can defend the lower suited connectors. Yeah, I think a fold, it's better. This is a shove. Okay. You know, I think I prefer a shove here, to be honest, because he's not rebetting that much, you know?
Yeah.
So he's like defending more, and even the ace jack is defending. So let's make him pay for the better part of the range he wants to defend as a call.
Yeah.
If he likes to defend that better range, let's make him pay. Okay, this is the same spot of the 5-6.
Yeah.
For me, it's the same. Okay. Open call. This is okay for me. Then check. Then 9. The problem is that I don't think you have many aces on your range. Okay. And okay, you have some 10s. It's right. You have some 10s, but I don't think you're going to stab that much in this turn. You know, I think most of your range here plays at it's a check. I think you don't stab that much because a 9 here most of the time is going to be a check. you almost don't have any aces. You have sometimes like 8-7, maybe the king queen you shove pre-flop, you know, so it's difficult to build a good range here. And even if you have a range, I don't think it's a leading range on the turn, you know. So I think most of your range is a check, probably a quit, you know. Yeah, probably in this board it's a quit. So I don't think you should lead here. Yeah, this one is tough because against a random player it's more difficult to construct your own ranges, but I don't think this one it's a lead on the turn. Okay, here it's a limp. Okay, check, stab. Okay, perfect. And now I'm quitting a little bit, I think, in this part. I don't think he's gonna fold any pair plus draw, any middle or better pair, so I don't think I'm stabbing. Yeah, I'm not stabbing turn, because this is the type of player that is not going to fold like ace 8 queen, queen 8, random jack 9, queen 9, flush draw. I don't think he's going to fold, so I'm not. Of course, I don't have showdown value here. I know I'm going to lose, but I prefer to quit with this hand, you know. Yeah, jack deuce. This guy is crazy. This guy is crazy. Yeah, totally. Yeah, this is a shove. Perfect. Open raise, fold. Okay. It would be a defend with a 10-7, I think. This can be open raise. Check. I like this check back. Nice. Check. Now I think this way. Am I going to be able to take 2 streets of value with just my middle pair, no kicker, or at this point the king kicker? And I don't think I'm going to have 2 good streets of value, you know. Of course, this guy is very loose, but I think we should be a little bit careful, you know. So I think the queen here is a 1 street value type hand. Now you have to decide which one is the better street, the turn or the river. And for me, I think you should value bet your hand while you can still have some draws or some ace ice, you know. So I think we can bet the turn like 4k and then check behind the river. Okay, perfect. I like the size. Call. Okay. Check. Now it gets interesting again. I don't think against this guy I'm going to bluff that much. Yeah. Yeah, it's so random that he's the type of guy that's going to call you with queen 10 high here, you know. And I don't want to bluff, so I like a check here. And it checks again, perfect. And now I don't think he has any pair in his hand.
The bigger card he has, for sure.
Yeah, he has bigger cards, so you can try to bluff him off here. Yeah. Because I've played against some guys that are unable to read the board. You know, they look at here and they think, maybe he's winning. I don't know. And I think you have more 6s in your range than him. You know, it's like I think if he had a 6, he will try to bet turn to be able to bet river again. Like the top full house is a 2 street value hand at least, and he should bet a 6 on a flop, you know, because it's very vulnerable to your possible overcards. So I think you have a 6 more times than him. So I think you can bet here like 14. Because you always bet big here, you know. If you have quads, you bet big. If you have a 6, you bet big. If you have a bluff, you should bet big because your value hands bet big also. You don't have over pairs here, you know. You don't have 7s, you don't have 8s, so you only have 6 or quads or bluffs, so you should bet like 14, 16k here. I would like that bet. Okay. Yeah, but this is I think this is a more advanced play that you can do against a random fish. Yeah, I think you can have, and you have the stack to be able to make a play that, okay, sometimes not working, but you should try it sometimes. With the stack you can. Okay, This is okay. Limp. This one I think is so bad like you can fold, but the limp is okay. Now a stab. Yes, perfect. Okay, if you are limping these ones and you stab, I like. Okay, if you are limping and then you get a little bit scared post flop, you know. Okay, I prefer that you don't limp because you will lose money with these hands. If you are stabbing, perfect. Nothing to say. This is a shove. Perfect. I like queens. Okay, nothing to say. Nothing to say. Open raise. Okay. I think I'm going to check back this one. I would stab if I had a club in my hand, okay? Because we have enough showdown value with our ace check. We know that he has in his fighting range some good hands, so we are not out of trouble on this board. And I don't think I can barrel that much on turns and rivers with my hand, you know, without a club. So I think I prefer to go for the showdown route of the hand and try to check it down. Perfect for me. Okay, I really like your line here. Okay. Walk, okay. Open raise, call, check. I think I'm going to c-bet here. I prefer the c-bet. As we know, he can flat ace check. So he can flat 2 overcards here to our tens, and we need to protect a little bit. So I think a really small c-bet here is enough. Something like 7k, 6k is more than okay because the board is dry. Yeah, you check back. Now it starts to get a little bit tricky with the ace. Of course you have more aces, but we also know he has strong aces in his range, so maybe I'm going for the check back here. Yeah, and he has the queen. Okay, okay. I don't mind your small bet on the turn. It's okay. I like the size. If you are using this size, it's okay.
Because I had a feeling that it's more... he has more reasons to fold on the turn than on the flop. I have this feeling.
Yeah.
That's why I will get to the turn more.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and if you are using this size, it's okay because you can bet a lot on the turn when you use a small size. Okay. Now this is open raise or a limp. Okay. Check bet.
Limp strategy against him because it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So you prefer to limp. It's okay. Okay. I was thinking, I think this is similar to the spot we had earlier, because you have a mid pair, backdoor flush and backdoor straight. I think this one I don't mind to check behind, and I prefer to bet when I limp something like Jack 6 or or Queen 6 or 10-6 that doesn't have many backdoor equity.
So it's not improving in the later streets.
Yeah. This one is improving a lot, and you can call in a lot of turns. So maybe I can check behind the flop, okay. And that way you will have mid pairs on your checking and on your betting range. You know, it's again another way to balance your range. Okay. Seems. Do you understand the thought process?
Yeah, I understand. So the short speaking is that the hands on the flop which are not to improve, you just stab, but the hands which have some backdoors or
not the hands, but the mid pairs, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about all the hands, but only the sixes with room to improve. We can check them. The ones we don't have, like let's say king 6 off, you know. Okay, only the mid pairs. Like let's say you have 5-3 in spades. Is the same, you know. You have backdoor straight and backdoor flush. So you check. Yeah, yes. So let's say you have something like, I don't know. Yeah, the queen 5 is an example. I think you should bet. Then you should bet. Yeah, then you should bet some other hands. Like the hands you can go for 3 streets of value. You start on the flop, like ace-6, ace-5, 6-5. You can bet 3 streets, 6s, 5s for. Let's say you limp aces. Okay, maybe you can small stab with aces sometimes. But the ones you're not going for 3 streets, maybe you can check flop and then reevaluate on turns. Okay. Okay, nice. Okay. Defense. This is the worst flop ever. I think.
It was a joke.
Yeah, I think I'm going to check down this one. You can bet. The only thing you are getting value from is a heart, right? Is the only thing. But no, but I prefer the size because it's the only thing you are getting value from, and we know that it's capable of checking back twice the king or the ace. So I think you really have to use a smaller size. A little bit just of protection against the hearts, but you can also check down this hand. Okay. Yeah, I like this one. You are able to take 2 streets. At first sight, I think two streets are your play. So bet turn and bet river with this hand. Maybe turn can be a little bit smaller, something like 8 to 10. So you can bet again on the river, but I think it's okay to start to build the pot on the turn. Okay, this can be a shove. If he's defend, you know, it's the same thing. If he's defending a lot, this is a shove. He's again on the 13 big blinds range. Yeah. Okay, nice folds. This can be a limp. Okay, now he's 3-betting. Fold, okay. This can be, yeah, a limp. Yeah, limp or now he's tried. He starts to get more aggressive, so it's difficult to decide because it's completely random. But I like the fact that you had been patient, not overly aggressive. Like, okay, sometimes you try some things, but okay, now it worked. Small 3-bet, okay.
Could be a shove also, I guess, maybe.
The king 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be. With 15 big blinds, you can shove any king, small versus big, you know.
Yeah.
But again, against such a passive player, I think your strategy is better, you know. Just limp and try to outplay post flop because you will decide better post flop. I think it's better. So now this is a 3 street hand, and I think. Yeah, I think I will stab flop right away. I will stab right away. Because he's continuing with a 6 and backdoors, like 6x of spades or 6x of hearts, but in this case you have it, so he doesn't have that one. He will, yeah.
With the mid pair you said, with the proving.
Yeah. He will continue with ace 10. With queen 10, queen 9, any jack, any king, so he still has a lot of hands he can think he will be stubborn with. So I think this is a 3 street hand. Yeah, now okay. Okay, I like the fact that you quit on the turn. I think it's very reasonable to quit against him on the turn because he's very sticky. He's not going to fold. Okay, this can be a shove again or a defend. Anyway, I'll be happy. Okay. I think that if he's not stabbing on the flop, I don't know if we should stab on the turn because he can have some better aces checking behind. To call turns, you know, like ace 10 that he says, okay, I have a gut shot, I have overcards, but I don't want to get check raised, so I'm going to check behind the flop, and to call your bet here on the turn. and your ace-7 is not performing very well. Of course, on the other hand, you are making some hands that have equity against you to fold. Of course, the king-jack, the, I don't know, jack-10, 9-8. But I don't think you are making fold many hands that you are not winning already. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to fold any mid pair between the 5 and the queen. He's not folding most of his ace highs. He's not folding any queen. The things he are folding, you are already winning with your ace-7. Yeah, so be careful with this type of bet, okay? Okay, this can be a limp. Okay, nice. So I think here, top pair, 10 BBs, we can go for 3 streets against a sticky player. One shove. Yeah, I think this is a call. I'm not happy. Okay, I'm not happy here. I'm not very happy, but I don't think we can fold top pair now that he only has 10 bigs. I'm not very happy, but I don't think. Yeah, you are totally right. You are totally right. You are totally right. It's tough. This one is a tough one. It's a tough one. Let me think if we can split our queen's range. Of course, if we have a queen with a kicker higher, we have to call, of course. But I think like queen 9, queen 10, queen 8 that have backdoors, we have backdoor straight, we have to call for sure, because of course we are calling the king queen and better. The queen x suited in hearts we have to call too, because we have the back door. Okay, I imagine we have better queens to call here. So I think let's say if we have a queen with a better kicker, okay, ace and king for sure we are calling. If we have a queen 10 we are calling also, and then if we have a queen 9 8 in hearts, or at least with a club, we have to call. So maybe we can fold this one. We have enough queens in our range to call if we have all those other ones, and we can fold this one, but it's a tough one.
Yeah,
but
one also take into account that he's not through.
Yeah. Okay, I think I agree with you. Yeah, okay, but no, but I think our reasoning is okay. This is another random play by him, you know, because for sure he had a lot of flush draws that he didn't check shove, you know. So I think maybe we can fold this one and see. You have now a different opinion than you had in game. It's funny because it's more easy to follow the rhythm of the play when we are just reviewing the heads up, of course. Okay.
But I was totally like sure that I would have folded it, but okay.
Yeah. Another thing I think you didn't do, but you could start now thinking about, is against this type of players you can use 3x raise. You know, and you didn't use it anytime. So with the top part of your range, no worries, no need to balancing 3x.
He won't catch that for sure.
You know, so this is another adaptation you can do. So this is again without any diamond. I'm going to for showdown with this hand. Okay, when the 10 doubles, I don't mind a small stab. But I think I would use a smaller size.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we need to use a smaller size here, something like 7, something like that. And he folds, okay, because I think it's the same. 7 or 12, it's almost the same. Okay. I think this is a fold. Okay. Again, 3x spot. This is check fold. I don't think I'm going to float this hand. I think we have better floats here, you know. We have some ace eyes. We have like 10-9, 10-8, queen 9, queen 8 in spades, or with one diamond, king queen, We have a lot of better floats, like shitty hands, but that we can still continue. And this one only with undercards. It's
I thought that he just betted the min bet. That's why maybe he didn't have nothing, so that's why I called.
yeah, but okay, I understand that, but I think if you want to play back, play as a check raise with this hand, because you don't have any showdown value. You know, if you have some ace eye, of course, just call. No problem. But without showdown value, I think it's better to take a more aggressive line
For yourself.
yeah, and that way you how to say this? You make impossible for him to improve on the turn. Let's say if he's stabbing with something like king 8 off, you know, maybe he can hit a king, and that way it's impossible for him to fold. And if you check raise with this hand particularly, I think it's better. Now you are in a tough spot with an open ender when you like small and then big bets. So now you have 26% pot odds, and you have like 8 outs, right? But you're not sure they are good, because if he has like jack 8 or flush or some jack something, or 5s or 7s, so I think this is a fold. I'm sad, but I think this is a fold because you don't have the pot odds, and you're not sure about the implied odds. Yeah, I like. No, it's good because I like your discipline. It's good. You are able to fold. Okay. Stab. Perfect. Call. Okay. So this is another one. I don't mind you to check raise, because you have the overcard, you have the hearts, you have the 8, the 7, and the jack, and the king to barrel the turn.
Yeah.
So this is one. If you want to take a stand against him, for example, you have some room with this hand. You know. It's better than if you have something like, I don't know, let's say 7-4. You know.
Yeah, with nothing.
Yeah. Okay. So now I think I'm going for 2 streets, or maybe bet check and try to check call if he wants to bluff the river, because I think it's now that he's still going to call with some king, some jack, you know, some 8. So it's now that you are able to take some value of his draw. Yeah, and okay, now it's a bad river, of course. Okay. I think we can c-bet this one. We have like ace, 4, and 6, and diamonds on turns to keep barreling, and we still have the overcard. So this one is one I don't mind to c-bet here. We don't need to c-bet that much because the board is like only semi-connected. So something like 10k, 12k, it's more than enough, I think, for a c-bet here. Now we have to fold. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. 3-bet, nothing to do. I think I fold this one. It's very shitty. I think I prefer a fold here. It's funny because you only did small 3-bets with shitty hands. It was the 10-8, the 9-5, and the jack 3. So you see your tendency now, right? You only do that move with bad hands. So you have to try to do it sometimes, you know, with your good hands. Yeah, sometimes you have to do it. Okay, check. So I think if you make that, you have to stab at this board.
Yeah.
Okay. You are blocking the queen jack with a interesting combo to block here. So I think you have to c-bet here, and the board is dry, so you can use a small size, a size that won't commit you with your stack. You can use something like 18k, maybe less, maybe 15, and yeah, and you did it. Okay, It's okay to do it now in a king. I think it's also a good card for you to represent. Perfect. Stab, okay. Check raise. Okay, again, I think 6-3 is not the... Okay, use something like king 8 in spades, king 8 in, you know, 1 overcard in all the backdoors. At least, if you want to choose a hand to do this type of more random plays, more testing plays, choose a hand that can still improve on the turn. You know, because here, yeah. Air, you quit. Check, and then he bets, and now you have to call, because it's like it's a shit. Of course, you're only winning maybe 1 in 10 times, but sometimes he has the king jack, you know. Sometimes he has the ace jack, the ace king, the I don't know, some random jack 9. So you have to call now. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Now.
It makes no sense right now, but
You know, now you have to call. You need to. You have to.
it's no bet.
Yeah. It's like 10%. So 1 in 10 he has king jack. Yeah, maybe 1 in 10. Maybe 1 in 10.
I don't know. I just missed that spot. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy.
Now he gives you a walk when you have tens. This is
Crazy heads up.
yeah. This is crazy. This is crazy. Yeah, the 8 deuce again. I think the limp is better. Works better the limp. Okay. Instead of the open raise. Check bet now, I think. Yeah, okay. Because now you're going to take value from a 9, from a 5, from a 10, from a flush draw, from a 7, something like a high 7, queen 7 is going to flat. So nice.
But when if he would have called, then and on the river he would bet, so we should call then, yeah.
I think it depends on the river, right? I think in a king river you should call. I think in a straight river or flush river you should fold, because he's calling with all the gut shots, as you saw earlier. He's calling with all the gut shots, all the open-enders, all the flush draws. So in the obvious bad rivers for you, I think you really have to fold, because he doesn't seem very bluff happy, this guy. Okay. I don't mind. You have the backdoor flush and you have the 3 to a straight in with a 7. So a 10 it's good, a 9 it's good, a 5 it's good, a 4 it's good. You have a lots of cards to bet. I think better than this. Besides the obvious draws, you don't have that much. So maybe something like 8 of spades could be in the same category, you know? Yeah.
Because I was doing that, you know, regardless of seeing my future improvement of the hand.
Yeah.
So this is the little mistake. So I
Yeah.
have to do this more casually with more possibility to improve.
Yeah, because if you choose this type of hands, it's not random, you know. When you choose the 6-4 there, it's like, okay, I want to do this now, and you don't have a good frequency of that move. When you start to think about, okay, this hand makes sense because I will improve on this card, and that card, and so on, you know, then you start to have a more balanced frequency, and it's not just because you want, you know, it starts to make sense for you. And it's very after some times you practice this, is very recognizable, you know. Sometimes you are doing this and someone who is less experienced won't recognize how much turns you have that will improve you, and for you now is automatic, you know.
Yeah, I understand, because right now I'm doing that because I want to do that.
Yeah.
But now I will start more cautiously.
Yeah. It's like I know you don't do this that often, so you just do it sometimes, and why not do it the same amount of times but with better hands, you know?
Yeah.
It's a bluff. In the end, it's still a bluff, but it's a better bluff.
With improvement.
Yeah. Okay, nice one. The limp. Okay. Stab, perfect. Call. I think I prefer a call here. Again, the min 3-bet with the mediocre hand, and he calls because he's very call happy, you know. He's very call happy. So here I think we want to stack off in 2 streets. So we wanna set a size on the flop to be able to shove turn. So that will be something around 30k. So we make 30 equals 30, so it will be 120 and will be 100 behind on your stack. I think that's the better size. And yeah, I really don't like the check because it's a top pair, but it's a very vulnerable top pair, you know, to the overcards. Of course, you have one of them, but all the jack tens, queen jacks, ace jacks, ace queens, all that stuff, you know, it's very bad for you on the turn. And also, on the other way, if he has something like sixes, he can pay you now. If comes a jack later, you are in bad shape, and he is in bad shape, and he's not going to pay you anymore. You know, so now is the street to get value, and with the SPR, you know what is SPR?
Stack pot to stake ratio.
Yeah, stacked pot ratio, exactly. Yes. So with this SPR, you really want to stack off now. You know, like 1.5 SPR. Try to stack off now and avoid bad spots later.
Yeah, this is a mistake. But we got that covered with later hands.
Come on, I guessed again. The jack. This is spooky for me now because I didn't saw your heads up yesterday. This is spooky for me. Yeah, it's the second hand I'm guessing. This is very strange. Yeah, and now you have to check again. Of course, you cannot start to value now because you will get a very big pot on the turn, you know. So now I like the check, of course, and now you have to check again. And okay, you win this one. Of course, with this hand he won't pay you, but I think the better play is to bet flop and set up a shove on the turn. Okay, almost there. This is a shove, easy peasy. I think this is a fold with him so short. I prefer to fold this one.
Just calling everything from here.
Yeah. Okay. You check raised here, and he called 5. Interesting. But it's a bad card for you, honestly. I think it's a bad card. It completes a lot of his draws. I don't think. Okay, this one is nice. You can shove now. I think I'm shoving here. I think I'm shoving because he can call you sometimes with something like, I don't know, 8-7, 9-7, and he says, okay, I'm blocking the straight. He's going just for a check raise with a flush draw. He's betting. He's full of shit. I don't know. I'm going to shove here. Or maybe in another way, he can have like himself a flush draw. He just called, and now he hit the jack of clubs, and now you can make him pay. You know, because I think he doesn't have a king for sure. You know, he didn't shove the turn, so I don't think he has a king, or at least a decent king. He can be slow playing 2 pair, some type of hand. I don't know because it's a little bit random, but I think you can still take value from your hand here. You know, and we know he's not very bluff happy, so we don't need to induce any bet from his bluffs when we check our 2 pair. We just bet here on the river. Yeah, check, and he has the 8-10. Okay, of course this hand is probably not going to. He didn't bluff this hand, so no need to limp. Okay, I think this one we can check behind and make sure we can hit our flush.
Checking behind because we have the settings that we talked before, that we have room to improve.
Yeah, we are checking, and because it's like it's not at the same time, it's not a hand that we are going to barrel.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a hand that if we improve, we can call at least 1 street.
Yeah.
You know, and if we improve, it's a fine bluff catcher at least for 1 street.
Yeah.
And we also don't want to bet fold this hand on the flop. You know, it's like we have the flush draw, we have the backdoor straight, so this one works better as a check behind. Okay, and now yeah, perfect. I think we can. Yeah, no, I like the value because he sometimes can get stubborn with without a heart. Yeah. Okay, perfect. I really like the value bet here. Small size, perfect. We can explore a lot this type of players using small sizes to value. And then the last one, perfect.
Hooray.
Yeah, this was a long heads up, man. This was a very long heads up. But I really have to say congrats to you because you are very patient and very disciplined in the in this type of heads ups. Is very difficult. It's very difficult because people start to get anxious. You know, I want to finish him. I want to finish him. I want to. This guy is so bad. I'm so better than him. I need to win this one. And people start to get anxious. And you have to be very patient, very calm. You were ahead, then you were behind, then you were ahead again. No, it was a very fine played heads up. I enjoyed a lot.
Okay, and what about the general conclusion? What would you say?
I think general conclusion for now, and the advice I could give you for your next sessions would be to so in the pre-flop game I would say increase a little bit your button range,
Yes.
decrease a little bit the cutoff range, and pay a lot of attention to the players that are in your table. You know, maybe in the next sessions, so you can work on this a little bit, you can reduce the number of tables. Instead of 9, you just play 6, you know, and you focus a little bit more on this part of the pre-flop. So this would be my advice for you to work on the pre-flop. Cut off button and pay more attention to the players on the table, because sometimes you are in the hijack, you are in middle position, but the truth is that you are on the button because they are so tight, you know, that you can open raise. And sometimes you are on the button or on the cutoff and you have a middle hand, a very like bottom hand of your range, and they are very aggressive and you are opening, and it's not worth it because they are going to shove on you, they are going to 3-bet you, and you are just losing money. Okay, so try to work on your adaptation to the table and to the players. In the post flop section, I would say that you have to try to work on balancing a little bit more. You know, just don't do some plays just because you want to. You know, they have to make sense. They have to be defined not by what you want but by the cards. You know, and when they are defined by the cards that you have on the flop and or the turn or the river, they are defined by the math. You know, and that way, because the cards are random, you are also balanced. You know what I mean? This type of check raises, the type of middle pairs that you bet, the type of top pairs that you bet. You know, they are defined by the cards, by the suits of the cards. You know, by the combo that of suits that you have in your hand, and then you can start to be more balanced. Of course, against some players, you don't have to be that much balanced, of course, but anyway, you even against this type of player, this heads up guy, you don't need to be super balanced, but in some spots you should have the how to say, in this type this type of bluff that we were talking about. Don't do the random ones, do the ones, okay, they are a little bit more ambitious, of course we have to try them sometimes, but you choose the better combos, the better hands, with the ones with more room to improve on the turn.
Yeah, like with the middle pair. With
Yeah.
the dominant of the two
Yeah.
pairs. So you better check all these spots, and with the middle pair or the bigger pair,
They are if they are more vulnerable to the turn cards, you should sometimes c-bet them more. You know what I mean? If they are more, it's different. It's different to have a board like, let's say, let me try to see a board here, an interesting board. Okay, this one, but let's say you have. Okay, here, if you have 8, okay, I think you should bet an 8.
yeah.
You know, because the turn card, if it's a 9, if it's a 10, if it's a queen, king, ace, it's bad for you. Okay, but let's say if you have something like 8, 7,
9, not 7-9, but 7-10 maybe.
yeah, you can check it back.
Yeah.
You can check, but let's
With
yeah, with backdoor flush, with that backdoor flush. Let's say you have the 8, but 8-7 in spades, 8-9 in spades, 8-9 or 8-10 in clubs. Maybe you can check that middle pair because you have a lots of turns that can look bad for you in your opponent's eyes, but actually is good because now you have a pair and a draw.
Yeah.
You know what you mean. Some cards look good for your opponents because you checked back your flop, and they are also good for you. You know what I mean? Because the cards he's going to attack more here are what? Are the 7, are the 5, are the 9, yeah, and are the 10, probably. Yeah. These are the cards he's going to attack more because he's going to say, okay, now I'm going to represent the flush or the straight. And he's not going to represent when he's an ace, because he knows this guy on the button has more aces than me. He's not going to represent a king, because you have more kings than him. So sometimes you have to check this type of hands so you can continue on supposedly bad turns for you. You know, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay. This is the regarding the post flop and the later
Yeah.
game, as you said, that I need to use some possibilities defending the big blind with the smaller stack.
Yes, especially when you are out of the ICM.
Yes.
Okay, out of the ICM, I think you should defend a little bit more, especially with the suited part of your range. Don't get scared to defend the suited part. Force yourself a little bit. Of course, you have to know that sometimes you are going to blow some tournaments, you know. Yeah. But in the other ones, you're going to double up, and instead of going to a deeper one with 12 bigs, you're going to be there with 35. You know, so okay, take that in consideration. And then when you are playing the final tables, I think you have to pay very attention. This is very important to the stack distribution. Okay. Yes. If because of that you sometimes change your play from a shove to an open raise call or open raise fold. You know what I mean? So all the factors have to be considered on the final table, especially when you're trying to pressure someone. You know, you have to understand if the better way to pressure them is to open raise shove, or just to open raise and fold sometimes, open raise call them, you know, because if they are in the last place, you can induce more because the ICM doesn't work for them. They don't have pressure, so they will shove more. You can induce a little bit more. But if they are in second place, they have to fold so much that you can shove more. So you prefer to shove right away.
Yeah.
There are lots of things to consider, but maybe in another time we can just check like 3 or 5 final tables from you and just see the ICM plays, and because I think there are lots of considerations, and you know, sometimes people ask me for advice on that spots, and I always say, if you want to to play good ICM, imagine that your final table, even if it's a $2 tournament, is for $1 million first prize. Yeah. You know, and if the pay jumps would be like 100 or 1,000 times bigger than they really are, you will play better ICM. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because you will get really scared, and you would only play the almost the certain hands. Maybe a little bit too tight, of course, a little bit too tight, because we are not used to play for cars and houses. But you know what I mean. When I have a tough spot, I think, okay, if this would be for $1 million, should I call or should I fold? And sometimes it helps me.
That's great stuff. I think it will help me as well. Yeah. But right now, for this year, I've been played only 1,800 games. Yeah.
Yeah.
And right now it's like minus $900. I don't know. It's just a downswing, or I need to play better, bigger, more games, or I don't know. It's just like hard to play, you know.
Yeah, I understand, but my advice is like, I think for you, because you have a day job, you know, it's a little bit easier because I imagine that you don't depend on your poker money, right? So it's easier, but don't get that temptation to, okay, I'm just going to deposit more money to play higher and get out of the downswing. You know, yeah, you have to be I don't know if this is in English, resilient. You know what I mean? Resilient, like persistent. Persistent is like don't quit. You know, don't quit on your own strategy, on your own plan. You know, and it doesn't make sense if you are losing at the lower level. Don't play higher just because you want to get out of it. You know, keep your head high and be tranquil, because sooner or later you will get out. And of course, I would say to you, and this trying to help myself. If you are in a downswing, of course, it's better to talk to more experienced people. It's just like that, you know. Of course, I prefer you talk to me, of course, not right. But if you have friends to change ideas, you know, if you want to do another session with me, I think it's these days it's very good to talk to someone with more experience, because there are lots of information out there. I'm not saying it's bad information, but you need to know how to interpret it, you know, because
that's correct, because you know, I've been joined one, you know, group.
Yeah.
There was a coach, and he did a stream, you know, and he just was staking people, but it's a general approach.
Yes. Today I worked for you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think this is so much better than you having a group of 5 guys being coached by one guy. But like you will need like 10 sessions, you know what I mean, to learn the same things. So it's better sometimes to invest a little bit more in one time, and maybe it's like one time this month, one time next month, and gradually you will improve and take time to let the thoughts settle down on your game, you know. And I think it's better that way, because one thing is when you see some guy on the EPT or in the Poker After Dark doing a check raise with a third pair, blah blah blah. Yeah, but those guys, they were professionals. They were that was a specific hand with a specific read in a specific time that you don't know, and I don't know even. You know, sometimes I'm looking for some hands from some guys, some very good guys like Phil Live, you know, and I'm saying, okay, he must be drunk. This doesn't make any sense, but of course in that moment it makes for sure, right? It's Phil Live, he knows better than me. But I think for the ones that are more inexperienced, they look, okay, I have to check raise all the time, this hand here in this spot, and it's not that. Sometimes you are seeing a bluff that is 1 in 100, you know. So it's difficult to filter all the information out there.
That's for sure. But I'm really enjoyed starting with your job. I like your approach, and this suits for me. Really.
Perfect. I can tell you, I really enjoyed. Also, I'm very experienced in these games. The 2.5s, the $8, the 3.5s, the ones with the knockout too, the $5 and the $11. I have thousands of games of these. I think I can help you with this one, and I have some experience in teaching because I was giving private math lessons to high school students, so I'm very comfortable. I like to teach. Okay, so if I wasn't a poker player, I would be a teacher for sure. Yeah, for sure. My father is one, so I will be on the same path.
It's crazy because I think you're exact guy which I needed. I was looking for one, just 180 specialist only in this area.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to be a better player in this my favorite games.
Yeah.
So I think I found the correct guy.
Yeah, perfect. I'm so glad to hear that, and I hope my English is understandable.
No, it's really understandable.
Yeah, perfect. I think, yeah, normally I coach Portuguese players. I had I think 1 or 2 review sessions with foreign players. So you are the first one. My coaches were I had a French and a Canadian coach, but as a coach, I only give one lesson to you. So I'm glad it worked out.
Oh, it was really good. I'm gonna continue this if you
Perfect.
want.
Oh, of course. I'm open to it. Anytime you want, just hit me on Skype, and we have a good match because it's only 2 hours, so no big deal related.
Because we have a little bit time over,
Yeah.
which you said. But is it okay, or what do you think?
No, for me it's okay.
Okay.
No, normally my session I play on the afternoon normally. So of course I prefer our sessions to be in the morning.
Okay. It's for me. It's
o-
better.
Okay, but we can do it also like on the morning in the weekends, So a little bit more outside of my work time, of my grind time. But I make some how to say, some off days, during the week. Normally I try to take the day off in the middle of the week because I like to play on Sundays, so I take the day off on Saturday and one weekday. I'm living already with my girlfriend, so you have to take time to everything. Sometimes it's difficult to divide my time between everything, but I think there are no worries about our coaching. Just hit me on Skype and you.
I'm just gonna adjust to your side because right now I have holidays from my job as well.
Okay.
But also, a lot of stuff happening in my life. Also, baby coming and stuff.
Okay. So you just work in your game during 1 week and a half, and then you hit me on Skype, and we can talk a little bit again. You have my email now. You just okay. We can do that.
Yeah, I'll send you my email that you could send the records.
Oh, okay. Yeah, please put on the chat on Skype.
Yeah. Okay, Joe. Thanks so much. It was really
Okay.
a pleasure.
Yeah. For me also. Good luck on your games. Take care, Maxi.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.